So can I have a motion to open the meeting
I make
today?
a motion to open tonight's Board of Trustees meeting
Thank you.
at 7 p.m.
Langley Adams Lively. Don't use that clock. It's wrong. So we have recording and we have, say again?
I'll second.
Oh, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We have recording and we have some public joining us. Thank you. Search committee members. And we're probably going to change the order, not probably, we are going to change the order of the agenda and bring in Rhonda and Diana before, so they're gone by 8 o'clock. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of?
Do you want to do the minutes first then?
Can I just make a suggestion where some of us have just found out about Louisa's leaving? If we could, before she leaves at 8, if those of you who have not known this and found,
Say goodbye.
say goodbye.
Right.
Because she is
So
leaving
okay.
tonight at 8.
What was the last day?
This is
Okay,
her last
so
night.
last night.
Yeah. So,
And Tom sent their director report or sometime today, and I also wanted to say that he's not here because I asked him not to attend, and we'll talk about more of this when the search committee comes, but he's not one of the 3 candidates that are moving forward in the search, from the search committee. So we'll talk more about that, but that way we can, that's why he's not here. And that's why he sent the director's report. So anyway, Louisa's resignation was in that. So we can take a 5-minute break at some point to say goodbye too. Thank you, good point. And we also had a card being passed around for a thank you card from More Than Words. Is an organization that after the book sales, all the books that don't sell at the book sale get donated somewhere. And this year they were the recipients and they came and took all the books and left all the boxes. So we get to use them again. So he's one of their kids sent a thank you note. And we do have a card for Louise being passed around if anybody hasn't signed it. There are vouchers being sent around to be signed also. I'm going to have them back because I haven't looked at them. Yeah, I think we should approve the minutes prior to having Diana and Lauren in. And we might maybe even look at the budget that Tom sent before we have them in, so we have a feeling for where money is. So we have 3 sets of minutes, Carlos. Which ones do we have?
We have the September 10th minutes, and then we have the ones from August 25th and October 1st.
And October 1st is before us. The other ones were sent electronically.
oh, okay.
Do you want to read them out?
Can we read them all? Yes, starting with the 25th?
Do
Or do we want to?
I thought we decided we needed to read them.
Because we're on public.
Oh,
No, but it's for public record. But they do go on.
They're
accessible, so
yeah.
I would think
We
that
don't
if
need
they're
to read
we take these minutes and give them to the town hall, so anyone
Yeah.
who would like to see them in our general public are welcome to go and see them at town hall.
Right. it's down.
Or in the interest of time, we can just forego the reading of the minutes this time around, since it's 3 of them. And
I make
So-
a motion, one second,
So I didn't
Are there
see
any
anything to be changed
on the,
on any of the minutes.
well, I do have a question on the October 1st minutes.
mhm.
We're discussing donations, and it says another patron wants to donate money towards large print collection of bookshelves. Kathy Pernier indicated that she suggested that she should discuss with her lawyer. We discussed all types of options for donation. And if it was to be a legacy type, trust fund, that's where I suggested that she would wanna take that up with her attorney. But if it's an out and out gift, which she is the place where she's leaning, then she needn't do that.
Okay,
So,
should we just strike that whole sentence?
we can,
The
Yeah.
large print
Mhm.
collection, Kathy, did you send the, letter to,
Yes, I
change
did.
the accounts?
Yes, and
Great,
Denise confirmed it was done today.
great. So that is, I appreciate that. Any other changes?
the other thing that I'm confused with, it says documentation of available grant provided by Capital Preservation Committee. The grant is not from the Capital Preservation Committee. That's part of the documentation we would be using if in fact we decide to go forward with requesting funding from Capital Preservation to take and utilize some of the suggestions that are made by the grant and when they come on November 17th. So Capital Preservation is that's different. That's what's meeting Monday night. Informational meeting to explain to people how to go about applying for capital preservation funding.
that's what I meant, that's the grant I was talking about,
Oh.
not, because that.
But it's
in-
not a grant, it's just
That's,
funding?
capital preservation isn't a grant.
Okay, so
I
I
think
think it's just a
Yes.
word.
It's the grant that would be our,
Well, I had, yeah, the, from the,
funding.
So it should be available funding provided by
Funding, not
CAP
grant.
instead of grant.
But we haven't even approached them or filled out any of the paperwork yet.
right, but this just says that there was documentation that
Right.
was made available
Is
by the.
available.
It just,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
Documentation
but our
is
grant comes
available,
from a different place.
Right.
so maybe is available.
So, yeah, is available.
Mhm.
For funding. Provided by the Capital Preservation Committee, right?
Or funding from,
Funding, right.
So I make a motion.
it's community,
Oh, yeah,
Community preservation.
Community preservation, did I say cap?
yeah.
Community preservation.
Mhm.
let's get
Thank you.
And that informational meeting is Monday night, the 27th.
So can I have a motion to accept all, three minutes, August 25th, September 10th, and October 1st?
As amended.
As amended.
Did I make that motion?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Thank you.
Kathy, what time is that meeting?
7 o'clock.
And
So
where is it, Tom?
Town
that's
hall.
on the agenda, so do you wanna just talk about that right now to get it out of the way?
About that meeting?
Yeah,
It's an
so,
informational meeting, it tells you what the scope is, what can be accepted. We fall under that for historical preservation of historical documents, we've already covered that.
so yeah, that's what we talked about at the last meeting, and
Right.
Right.
you're hoping to have, like 2 additional people to go with you?
Well, I mean, I think as
Or-
many trustees as, this is a major undertaking, these forms, and I talked to Lauren about it. The questions that they need answered by November 3rd aren't a one-person thing. Part of it, I think, may be available off the ARIS forms.
Is that maybe what that information that Tom said?
That ended up going to.
No, that
that's
is
not-
my
that's okay.
financial, this
Okay.
is the backup for the
For the others?
financial, report for the town.
This is a huge,
Or-
huge form to fill out. It's a pre-visit questionnaire.
MBLC.
It covers so many things, it's gonna take more than 2 or 3 people. Lauren has already offered to take over the part that covers policies, providing the policies are available. I told her that I believe there's a link that shows the policies that Kim and Helen did when they were on the board. There's still a lot of policies that aren't there. Lauren's willing to take care of what refers to the collection and handling thereof and policies. There's a lot of building, questions that,
Yeah, well,
that are very,
yeah.
it's gonna take a lot more than 2 or 3 people, especially if 2 of the people aren't familiar with a lot of it. and I'm on a commission for a few days next week.
And then
So-
we only have a week if the meeting is Monday and they want this
Well,
by
we
the
don't, that's
3rd.
only an informational meeting, we have until December, I think it's the 15th, don't we?
I thought
Is
you
that
just
it?
said it
You
was
said
due to
November
the
3rd.
November 3rd.
Oh, no, I'm talking, I'm
Okay.
sorry, for the Northeast Document Conservation Center, before they come on the 17th to do the assessment, they're gonna be here all day, at least one day. We have to have this form filled out and sent to them by November 3rd.
The same form that you were just talking about, or
No.
a different form?
No, this is the Northeast
Okay.
Document Conservation Center. It's
A
the form I
smaller
was
one.
talking about, that Lauren is willing to take parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is it's a huge undertaking. A lot of the answers are gonna be not, we don't have it, but, they want cleaning stats and they want building linear footage, they want, a lot of things, as I say, may come off the ARS form. There's an awful lot
Okay,
that won't.
so I'm not available to help either, so is there anybody willing to help take on?
Next week?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's one of those things that you don't wanna lose the opportunity to tap into available funding.
I could do some nights, or even a couple of nights.
And it's,
I can help you try to do it, I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
be familiar with it.
Yeah, we could move here.
Okay.
I mean, it's staffing and budget questions, that information,
That's pretty straightforward.
Right.
Yeah.
some of it, perhaps you could go over with, because you dealt with this in the very beginning, right? Did you?
Now, I'm,
the LSTA grant?
Well, this is the part, we've been approved for the LSTA grant. Now, before they come and do the assessment, they want this pre-visit questionnaire.
Yes.
That's the questionnaire. I had asked for it a couple of times and I only just received it tonight. Because I wanted to go over part of it in order to fill out the paperwork for the capital, if we decide to go forward with the community preservation funding request. So, I mean, they're not asking for paragraphs, but some of it is,
Well, maybe what you guys can do is look at it and
Maybe
see
you should
whether,
look at it.
who.
Let's pass it
whether-
around.
Or, just let Barbara, I know I don't have time, let Barbara and Heidi look at it and see whether, and we'll circle back to that. Okay, so, do you wanna go see whether Rhonda or, Diana?
Okay.
Is there anything else on that, Kathy, until we circle back?
until everybody takes a look at it and we'll circle back. I also think that on the 17th, depending on where we are staff-wise, that, it would be good for a trustee to be here with Northeast Document Center.
17th of what?
17th of November is the day that they're coming to do the assessment.
so Monday?
It is a Monday, and it's that, we have a trustee meeting that night, as a matter of fact.
I'd be willing to, I don't think I could spend the whole day here, but I'd be willing to sit and talk to them as long as Lauren is scheduled on that day as well, because Lauren is taking a piece of it. Lauren attended the workshop.
At the moment, she is not on the schedule, but
She's not,
It's gonna change.
Yep.
the schedule will be changing a bit. And I can also call this one Jessica Bitely, and ask if we can get some type of an extension beyond November 3rd to have this questionnaire into them.
And not everything on this questionnaire needs to be filled out if you
Well,
closely.
a lot of it's gonna be no,
Yeah,
not
your
available,
question-
not
And
available.
my question is
Yeah.
what part does Northeast have to play in the MVLC?
No, community
Community
preservation.
preservation.
No, it's the those guys are coming for the LSTA part of it.
Exactly.
That's what
But-
we're gonna pay them
Right,
back.
and up until mid-December, we have until then to apply for funding from community preservation.
But I thought those guys were another option compared to the people that are coming from LSTA.
This is the option that we requested, Northeast Community. Northeast
So we
Document
selected them
Conservation
out of their
Center,
list.
because they had been out some years back and looked over and gave us a general verbal assessment. Now they do, now that it's granted, they do a much more in
Okay, I get it now. Thank you. I was missing that piece. I thought we were gonna compare them, but now we've chosen them.
Well, yeah, because that's,
Because they- yeah.
and the payment goes directly to them. Diana, can I pass this over to you to have you put it with a voucher the next round?
Oh, sure.
To, be reimbursed, thank you.
Well, they can go with these, right?
Those haven't been signed yet,
Yeah.
they still need to go out.
Okay.
Did I make myself clear about the process of that?
Process of what?
So the LSTA grant is going to be fulfilled by Northeast Document Conservation Center. They're the ones that are going to do the assessment on November 17th. We're hoping by the mid-December in time to apply for community preservation. We can even take
When do we
one
have to
piece
apply for community?
by the middle of December.
Which is what we need to do, because we need to hear from these people to see what they think it's gonna cost, so that when we apply,
We know what
We
we're
can
looking
tell
for.
them what.
So it all is
so
in
this
tandem.
is all,
Yeah.
this is how we
Yeah.
have to
Right,
do this.
so that's,
I wouldn't extend past November 3rd personally, because I mean, I'll help fill in
Okay.
if we need it. Let's not push things out, let's
Okay.
just get it
no,
done and
I
be done
agree,
and go
it's
forward.
just, yeah. I can take that, fill it out with the answers that I know, and,
Well, I don't think we should work on one form. So like, you know, like look it over and talk, and maybe have a phone conversation, and where you can say, I can do the first ones,
Right,
and
and some of
then,
this, like you're saying, you have to go down in the basement, and look at.
They wanna know how many books, how many cereals, how
that
many
part,
newspapers.
Right, some of those
that part
hours
of it
will have-
Lauren is taken care of.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
The
really
historical
nitty
part.
gritty.
Right.
Yeah,
That
and
she's
then the
taken-
thing they wanna know about, do we have, a collections department? Well, no, we don't.
But Lauren's taking care of anything to do with collections and handling thereof, so the other questions, but we can go over that.
and I was
at any
thinking of
time.
collections department, like, you know, for bad debt.
Yeah, right. You know, who's chiefly responsible for your preservation program?
We don't have it.
We don't have
That's what we're looking
So,
for.
I mean, you know,
NA.
That's what we're.
So a lot of this is gonna be in it.
Yeah.
I'm reading these questions.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
A
we
lot of
just-
it is,
We just
but-
don't.
okay.
Alright, so between the three of us and Lauren and Kathy, so the four of us, we can get this thing
Right.
figured out
Yeah,
and
this
be
will
done.
be-
I appreciate that.
Okay, so let's,
Okay, so we have Diana here,
Hello,
Oh,
Diana.
hello, Diana.
she's snuck in.
for,
Do we have a chair back here? Does
Were there a
everybody, do
couple
we have any
extras?
extras?
We passed them this way, so they.
Did they read it?
I'll give you mine, because Anne Marie shares mine.
Oh, there's more than one.
But you have one.
I just have one.
Oh, wait a
I
minute,
passed
have
them to
five
you.
of them.
I passed them to you.
Kathy's got like 5 copies. I have.
we found the stopgap.
Sad.
And do
Um,
we have? All right.
You get one now.
Oh, I like these free.
I
things,
love the
Diana.
phrase.
I like that.
So Diana is here to present her options for the fall and winter programs. What does it go out to, what month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you got all the way to May?
So a few are,
Already in the works, or?
yes, in the works,
And passed.
October, yeah.
yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
start with November.
We'll start with November,
Right, 'cause-
and those are all booked. So November's all booked,
And
December,
paid for?
booked and paid for. Paid for,
We pay as we go, right?
yeah,
We pay as we
Yeah.
go.
Right,
so,
Oh,
um,
yeah, they bill us.
But some, okay.
Well, they invoice us.
like this was, I think, invoiced.
For October, we're not willing to.
Right,
do
right,
it,
but none of these have been invoiced yet.
I don't know.
$300 to be
I wanted to
split
back up
15.
to the October one and just say how 93 people at the meeting?
At the
Owls,
Wingmasters,
yeah,
yeah,
Wingmasters.
Yes, wonderful.
Excellent presentation.
Wonderful turnout.
we were really lucky that
Yeah,
we
I didn't get to
donated
go,
this
but
time,
yeah,
so
I was
that was
there.
nice.
It was great.
all donation.
So that was great. Yeah, so November we'll be having a true crime and mystery author with Kate Flora, who I actually personally meet at NELA.
Excellent.
So that was nice to get to meet the face. And Rory Raven, I will split with Rhonda. And then we're gonna gonna do, a series of Tuesday films, we'll see how that goes, but it's the 75th anniversary of all these different films. So,
Excellent.
we're gonna see how that goes on
Be
Tuesday
wonderful
afternoons.
having filming.
Yeah. And then a lot of the big films.
The same in December.
And then Tess Carrottson we'll have in December, and she is free.
Wow.
So
Great.
that's awesome.
What's Laugh Yourself Healthy, Wealthy and Wise? Is that a book that he?
It's what he calls his program, and then he calls himself a gelotologist. So
what
it's,
college?
it's
The gel.
yes, so it's for older people, so it should be interesting.
So laugh therapy, I know
Yes,
about, is,
exactly.
so you increase your oxygen hugely, so it's a real big
Healthy thing to do.
healthy
Yeah.
thing to do.
So try it
Laugh.
out. I'm gonna see about, you know her? Okay. You recommend her? Okay, good.
She's delightful.
Good.
So you're gonna have one of the two?
Cause I'm waiting to hear back.
Yeah, cause there's a
that.
little word,
Yeah.
or.
So,
Oh, I see.
and then in February, hopefully we'll have, Ed Zaluski as someone will split with Nichols Village.
Is that gonna
And
be here or there?
it would be there. And Christopher Daly, he has a number of different historical presentations. One of them is a Bonnie and Clyde one. There's also on Lincoln's assassination, which
Which would be
actually,
fitting for February.
yeah, so we just have to decide which one to go with, so it might be that. I didn't write anything down for Groveland Gathers to Read, but I think you usually do a separate amount for
Funding.
that anyway.
We do, we usually approve a separate.
We haven't got the book yet either.
Well,
Or you guys haven't.
that's going
Yeah,
forward.
that's, so we'll have to think about that. And then April, the first one I booked with the David Vos Fife and Drum. Bob Ryan has let me know that he was gonna get back to me. I don't know for sure how much he is. Neil Sanders, has said that he's happy to do it.
Is Neil the one we have for our book
Gardening
club?
and flowers.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, but he would be doing a different thing.
He did the flower show mystery.
Yes,
Yes.
He
exactly.
did another garden
Yes.
mystery, yeah.
our mystery and book club had him as a speaker,
Yeah.
Diana had him as a
Yeah.
speaker there. He's a delight.
And the last time he donated.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yeah, he did that for free. And then I had actually contacted the person who did the documentary film, Going Attractions, and she had sent us a copy of that. And so I also found this guy who's a photographer who's done a whole, who actually has a book in the works on drive-ins and photography. So he's gonna come and do a talk on that. And also at Neola, through the History Press, I asked the person that was manning the table if she knew of someone that did one on drive-ins, and she said that there was someone in Saco, Maine, so.
worth sending you to.
That's right.
You
I
guys
had a whole bunch of stuff, it was
Great.
very good, so,
Great.
yeah, and I made lots of different connections, so that
Nice.
was
And you went all
excellent.
3 days, Diane.
Yes.
So the
it's,
total I got is $1,907. Sorry,
I'm
Madam
over here,
Treasurer.
barely adding up.
I had 1904, but
I
It's
could be
close.
wrong. I mean,
We're
$3
close. We're
here or
close.
We
there.
had a long meeting, ladies.
we're close.
I think 4 is right,
4?
cause
Okay.
9 and 5 is 14.
That's right.
I make a
So-
I
motion,
have
so fine.
$18.99. What did
I
you
make
say?
a motion.
I completely wrong.
1904.
I make a motion to approve up to $2,000 for the programming that Diana presented tonight from the donation account, which is where the money from the book sale went. Yes, it was the book sale that we raised and had sponsorship for programming. So that's why I would choose,
The donation account.
Second.
Oh, she's checking.
I'm just checking. The only reason I'm just looking here, okay,
No, we're good on the donation.
Yeah, I was just making sure that the money that was raised for the book sale, from the bake sale, goes to children's programming. That's, so I was just trying to keep that,
$359.
yes, I was
Yes.
sort of just making sure that that money was still there,
So
so.
yeah.
part of this is, what, with teens, is that, teens is under children's, right?
This
Right.
isn't the balance in that, that's,
Backside, it's got the
The back's
donation.
right here, yeah.
that's not the balance in the donation account.
It could be.
You know, when I had the report that I haven't updated, but the one that I had given you guys, that told us what we had earmarked and what was in, which I haven't gotten any bank statements to update.
I see what's here.
This is only showing what's earmarked,
Yeah.
it's not showing a balance
Yeah,
in it. You
it
have to
doesn't
check with
today.
Jackie for that.
Well, I might have that somewhere here.
Well, and this is gonna be spent over time,
Right.
and we're also gonna have the book sale that'll get dumped into this, so we'll all,
But in May.
yeah.
Depending on what the book sale, you know,
Yeah.
when we raise funds for, through sponsorships and include it for book sale, at that time it's determined what that money goes for. This is just what's earmarked, it doesn't show what the balance is. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that is,
Okay.
so. And I'm not sure if Tom was adding this into the earmarked portion, I don't know, so. But I know that we had a good, strong balance in there, we did over
Jen's
4,000
looking
for
plus
it.
5,000 just on the book sale for programming. But yes, there would be, to answer your question, there would be, if they so choose to,
They do so
they
choose.
do, okay, good. And what?
The next appeal.
The appeal to be the program. Okay, so if we
So we had a
Make a
motion and a
motion
second?
and do this.
But we're waiting for a balance if Jen can find it.
I don't think we have that over here. Oh, wait, no. May I ask the finance director a question?
Let's skip out.
Yeah, donation account.
It's really interesting that all these films are, coming up for the 75th year.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
And there's several more, but just,
Only so
Do
many
we-
we can.
yeah.
Do we have a update on the room?
I don't know of an update.
Okay,
I'd
I know.
I'd
little
love
bit,
one.
Yeah.
Approximately.
I would like to be able to do that.
You gonna be able to catch this?
I put my eye out, my luck's been running.
Here, let's
Right on
go
TV.
around
We're
this.
excited.
Let's go around the.
Notify it.
Right, we got you.
Let anybody else kind of look at it, it's gonna come back to look at
People, Carlos, do you have any poll? Maybe we can get, with the HB.com guys.
I can reach out to them, what did Tom say? Did
Tom
he say
said-
anything?
The last time, that he's got calls out, but they haven't really.
They haven't gone
You
anywhere.
didn't get
Got-
anything?
Yeah, I'll follow up with the HB.
Oh, that's, I mean,
Bob at
This is
HB.
nuts.
Cause, you know, these films, and the first film is, November 3rd.
Yes, I believe that's right, yeah,
Yeah.
November 3rd, and then,
Yeah.
that's actually on a Monday night when we'll be showing, and that one actually is like the documentary that talks about each of the films that came out that year.
Yeah.
Carol, if this company doesn't respond to you, can you know?
Yeah.
I think the challenge was that they were hired by the town to
Yeah.
install for us.
Well, I
So-
know, but then
Yeah,
that
so
fell
why,
apart,
yeah, why,
so,
And then Tom
We
can
don't have a
follow up
balance.
with them
Yeah.
and
yeah, it's still not stopped by, and as of Chris, October 15th, is still trying to get a date, hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Do we have an hour or?
We don't have a balance here.
we don't have a balance, so we have a motion and a second, I'm assuming it'll be fine, that we don't have a balance. So,
We don't have a balance
They
problem.
have-
We have, there's money in there,
Yeah.
that's what we think.
I'll figure it all out and send it out.
Okay.
And Denise said she'll give us the
Jackie will
number.
know what's in it.
Yep, Denise will check with Jackie, she closed the year yesterday. I just wanted to make sure that we
Yeah,
are covered.
cause it's just, it's not right.
so all in
that's-
favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Good job,
Abstaining.
Diana.
Yeah, nice programs.
Excellent.
I think so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can send, Rhonda,
I will.
thank you. Say again?
Deirdre may be, she can do it $250.
It's coming out of the speaker series, so it's free.
Oh, she was,
Yeah.
oh, she's from the, okay.
Yeah.
College Bureau, okay, I see
Yeah.
that, yes. Isn't that she charged her?
So that,
And
that's
the,
fabulous.
The thing they had at Nichols Village maybe a month ago, where we split the cost and, was very well attended. Certainly there were a lot of people from Nichols Village there. I think I counted maybe, I know, I counted maybe 8 people that weren't. But we had a really good showing from Nichols Village up there, so I think it's, it's
And you know,
good to
eight,
get
eight,
accommodation.
eight is
Hello,
not
Rhonda.
unusual.
Yep.
Here's your chair.
Thank you.
It's not unusual.
Hi, how are you?
So Rhonda, say your last name.
Cunha. The
Cunha.
H is like a Y. It's
Okay.
Portuguese.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
And,
I think I don't know everyone.
I don't think we've met. I'm Anne-Marie.
Hi,
Nice to
Anne-Marie.
meet you.
You too.
Lori LeBlanc.
Lori. Hi, Carlos. I know.
Hi.
Heidi. Barbara.
Laurel.
Hi.
Kathy.
Hi, Jen. All right, I know
Beth.
everybody then.
Denise behind us and Ron.
Yes. Okay, I made copies for everybody, so if you wanna just hand those out.
And
And,
no holding them, Kathy.
Well, we're just gonna take some right now.
Exactly.
Can't be trusted.
and,
Bogart.
I also brought the Baby Steps program that I started since I've been here. So this is what I actually give to my moms, and I thought I would share that with you too, but I need them back, because we have one more week with this program, so,
Are they all the same?
they're all the same, so you
Okay.
can just take one and pass it on. This is for the October program that we're doing
Make sure you got
currently.
enough for it.
I think
We can
So,
share.
I thought I would just run down and tell you sort of what's going on with the story times and changes that I've made and what's going on in the children's room and the teens room. So the first thing that I did was I started this Baby Steps program. I had been speaking to several mothers and they requested some kind of a forum where they could meet with their babies and actually mothers meeting. They felt some of them were feeling sort of isolated in the community and they wanted some way to get together and meet each other, and it's been a wonderful success. It's a really nice program, and because you let me buy all those wonderful toys, it's really great. So I do about a 15 to 20 minute, more like 20-minute lap sit, which is what you see on the Baby Steps that I just gave you. And it's actually a nice little workout. We start sitting and then we do some things standing and sometimes squatting, ugh. And then sitting again. And then after we do that, I model how to read to the children. So, you know, the moms, what would be an ideal is if we had all board books that were exactly the same, so that while I was reading, they had the baby but you know, that becomes prohibitive because, you know, you can't use the same board book over and over and over. Well, you do eventually, but it would be too repetitive, you know, and expensive. So what I do is I model, this is how I would read to my baby if my baby was on my lap, and I teach them how to engage the children as we're reading the book.
Do they sign up or is it just drop-in?
They don't, it's a drop-in, and
So
I think
that's another
it's.
issue, you don't know how many you'd have, so one time you'd have 5, and the next time
But
you'd
we
have 12, and you
don't.
don't
We have a lovely group of regular moms who come with their babies and grandmothers and caregivers. We started out with about 6, we went up to 8, now we have 10.
So I'm saying, no,
babies.
so even if you bought those books so that everybody had
Yeah,
one,
you never know.
sorry, you don't have one.
But we like to keep it, I know that babies at this age, sometimes they're napping, sometimes they're cranky or whatever, and so I don't really like to make them sign up for this program too, because, you know, you want to have it open for drop-in just to keep that flexibility because of the infants. Some of them have schedules, a lot of them don't.
And we don't
That's a
wanna
great
any
idea.
stress anybody's life.
No, exactly. And so then the Toddler Tuesdays, we did try an experiment with the Family Community Connections of Haverhill. Didn't work out so great, so after a couple of weeks, I took over that program, and that's been great and fun. And that program is also growing. I started out with 2 or 3 kids coming, and now I have a group of regular, maybe 6, sometimes 7. so it's growing slowly, and people are talking about the program, and more kids are coming, so that's a good sign. And then the bookworm story time, the Thursday program was actually a bookworm story time for 3 to 5, and then it was a family story time, all ages. But what we found was that the bookworm story time sessions on Thursday really served the kindergarten preschool crowd. So between the kids who go to morning preschool or kindergarten will come to the 1 o'clock, and it was the same population. So so I basically do that same program. I repeat it twice, and that's worked out really well too. I had 13 children in my morning session of last week, and that's a good attendance for our story time. So I was really excited about that. So, and what I've also tried to do is to try to encourage parents to respect the age limits that I've put, so that the toddlers are between 24 and 35 months, and the bookworms is ages 3 to 5, and then the baby classes, of course, are up to 23 months. And I like to if there are, of course, siblings involved, then the siblings come with the infants or whatever, and that works out just fine. But I think it's really important for the children to have their own developmental slot, so that sometimes if you have a 3 to 5 class and you've got an 18-month-old, they're running up and grabbing stuff, and it takes away from the experience for the other children. So with the exception of siblings, I have tried to encourage people to respect those. And because of that, I make sure that we cover all our bases and we have story time for everybody. So Lauren, of course, does the Super Sleuths, which is the nonfiction themed story time, and that happens twice a month. And that's on the Wednesday 4 o'clock slot. So I also started this like a Lego building club called Construction Zone that's in that same time slot. Initially, I wanted to offer it every 2 weeks just to fill in so that we always had something on that Wednesday at 4 o'clock. But the last 2 months, there's always been something else happening, like the Halloween party is happening this Wednesday, so we couldn't have Construction Zone. But, and the first Construction Zone I had, I was very excited about it. It was a crashing fail. I had found out very quickly before the first Construction Zone was going to happen that there was this wonderful International Cardboard Challenge.
Oh, yes.
And children from all over the world are building arcade games and all kinds of things. I saw one kid build a copy machine out of cardboard. And I thought it was going to be a great thing, and it's this international movement that was started by this little boy in LA. And then on October 11th, the people, all the community would be invited to come and play with the arcade games. So my car was filled to the brim with cardboard, and no one showed up. So my heart was broken, but I decided, okay, they want Legos, I'll give them Legos. So we now do Legos in the Construction Zone, and we had our first one last week, and we had 9 children come. So, and that is an easy program to run, and we have tons of Legos, so we're good to go on that one.
So you do have tons of Legos.
I have tons, yeah. Jen was had
We
put
did
out some
put it out,
notices, and but I happened to be cleaning out that disaster of a closet over there, and I found 2 full boxes of Legos and the base plates and everything. So we have all the supplies we need to run that program successfully. So that's good. And the kids loved it, and I heard them asking their moms to come back for the next one. So that's going to be a good one. Teen Art Night is a total hit or miss. The very first one, I was going to do scratchboard. Nobody showed up. Thank God I didn't spend a lot of money. And then for the October, I did a mother-daughter craft night where we made purses and little clutches out of books. And we raided the shed, which was nice. But, you know, that I had to buy a lot of materials, findings, and other things like that. So we only had 2 people show up for that, but they made some beautiful things. And I hear that the girl, the Emma, who was the child in the program, she has been using her purse, and she took it to a book fair, so that was really nice.
Roberta and her daughter, her granddaughter.
Roberta makes them herself.
Yeah.
Design job.
Oh, wow.
She makes the book purses? Oh, wow, okay. So the next teen thing that I'm trying, and that's going to be this Friday, is movie and a pizza. And up until this evening, we had 0 signups for that. I've been posting on Facebook, and but I did speak to a couple of teens that were in the room, and they have signed up not only for the movie night but for TAG as well. So that's the next thing on the agenda is, and the good thing too is I had my first TAG meeting last month. We had 9 people on my list. 3 boys showed up, and I talked to them about doing a movie and pizza night, and they are the ones who decided to do the Nightmare Before Christmas. So I did it. I want the teens to feel empowered. I want them to be, I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to just be guessing what they want to do, and that's why the TAG group is so important to develop, because I can use their ideas, and if they're coming from them, they're gonna come. So,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when is this movie gonna be on a Friday night?
it's 5 to 7, so we have a little special slot.
Although it's a slot, having a team that they're very at loose ends. It's a very
Isn't
loose
that
ends.
family dinner time?
Well, that's why we give it, that's why,
On
that's why
this
we,
particular Friday, no, because there's so many things going on
Well,
with the
this
school.
Friday,
Yeah.
Right, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
that.
I'm just thinking 5 to 7, that's dinner time.
but they're gonna eat
But they're
pizza.
having- they're
So
even
they're
having
having
pizza
pizza here. So that's
they
their
drop
dinner.
them off, and then you get to go out and have a pizza yourself.
Exactly. So we'll see how it goes. The girls seemed pretty interested in it, and they're going to try to recruit.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of getting more teens into the library will depend on me being able to do outreach to the middle schools, especially if we can go and get them excited at the middle school level. They may stay on through their high school years, and that's what my hope is.
It's a tough age.
Yes, it is, and I think it's pretty much a typical experience from other youth librarians that I've spoken to. They do have issues getting teens to come into the library, so
I think nighttime hours well, let's see what happens. I think it might be, it really, we talk about that all the time. Wouldn't there be just a nice place to go to have a movie with your friends that isn't just
right.
your house?
Exactly.
Then it's 3 girls, or it's actually, multiple people.
Right, and
potential
if
for
it
many.
comes, if it's generated from TAG, then they'll be the ones to decide which movies they want to see, you
Mhm.
know? So the other thing, of course, I've been doing the drop-in craft, so we did the leaf sun catchers. You can see them all over the windows in the children's room. And we're doing the paper climber, the little skeleton paper climber, so cute. And I've also started an Artist of the Month bulletin board. You'll see that right in front of my desk in the children's room. Currently, the Lord family children I have their artwork on display. I posted on Facebook and I'm trying to get people interested in that one. I think I'm going to need to connect with the high school art teachers and the middle school art teachers and elementary to try to get some more interest in going in that. But it looks really nice. I don't know if you've seen the display, but it's really kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then I just recently, this last week, I put in a grant proposal to the Groveland Cultural Council I requested $500 to purchase a collection of 20 big books for storytime programs. And this will get a lot of use because I don't know if you know what big books are. They're large format books. That's what this green thing over here is for. That lid flips up and it actually acts as an easel. Big books are great for shared reading, especially with the young crowd, because the images are big and the picture books that they choose to turn into big books are very simple. So this would be a really nice resource to have and it could be used on all 3 of the small and the teddy bear story time actually too.
That's a question, Rhonda.
Sure.
Who's in charge of the cultural council now?
I don't know.
I don't know if they've appointed it. Do you know, Judy? No, it used to be
I
Judy Lyon.
just took the application offline and filled it in and mailed it in. So, I'm waiting to hear about that. And then, of course, I did an extra owl craft to support the Wingmasters presentation. I had about 15 children come, so that was nice. And then I've hooked up with Robin Gleason at the Bagnell. She has asked me to start doing 4th and 5th grade book clubs for her advanced readers. She feels like, the kids who need remedial services are served, but it's the the G&T kids that aren't really getting
It's a great idea.
a book club. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I love to do book clubs. They're fun. also we're planning a Halloween party for next week, so Lauren and I talked tonight, we're gonna sit down on Friday, and we're gonna figure out what we wanna do. We've been sort of collecting ideas all month. And another thing I wanna do on election day, I wanna set up a polling booth in here so that when the parents are voting in town hall, they'll come here with their kids hopefully, and the kids can vote for, I don't know, their favorite character, or I'll figure something out. But I thought that would be kind of a cool thing. They're seeing their parents do it. It would be nice for them to do
voting
that
all
too.
about, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And you only get one vote.
That's right. That's right. And then I found in a very nice folder that Gina had left, Miss Caroline does a sing-along, so I'm going to talk to her about seeing if we can get her to come in on December break.
So you found the book?
I found the
book?
mythical book. I did,
Oh,
and it's
excellent.
very useful. Yeah, it's got a lot of great things.
Can we
So
ask where it was?
it was in the desk drawer that I
That's
spent the first week here cleaning out. I found all kinds of treasures in there.
See? Good.
So my last page is my funding requests. So this is very general because I'm still getting a handle on how this all works and how much money is out there to spend. I've been really struggling to find economical children's programming, and I think that I'd spoken to Beth this morning on the phone about that issue, that it's very difficult to find performers to come for under $350 for just an hour. And I think when you think about the adult programming where you can get a speaker to come in for $100, that sounds like such a great deal, you know, and then you say, oh, $350 for a performer to come, that seems like a lot of money, but it is the reality of children's programming. And I mean, I have a bulging file and I keep going through and I'm looking, it's 300, 300, 350, 350, 500 for a magician, or they look like great programs, so we need the money for it.
I just wanted to show you that in the adults, we have some that are 225,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so it's, you know, 350 is not that outrageous.
Yeah.
And if that's the going rate, and I mean, and this is more of a performer, Christopher Daly does
Exactly.
the, you know, the Lincoln assassination or the Bonnie and Clyde, so that, you know, like you said, it's much more interactive
When
rather than
there's
a
that
discussion.
performance aspect related
Yeah.
to, as opposed to doing like a lecture, then it's, you know, it's much more expensive. So for shared programming with Diana, I'm asking for 150. That's half of the fee for this mentalist mind bender. And we figured that would be kind of a joint adult-teen thing that they would enjoy. And then for special programming, from what I understand from talking to people here at the library and from speaking with Susie and Gina, basically the spectacular programming happens during the kids' vacations from school. So I've only put down for February and December, and I'm figuring, okay, if I can then commit at least to 2 performers, and then I will try to figure out some other things to supplement during that week of vacations.
Maybe one performer each
Each of the 2 vacations. So that's why I put 700. I figured 350 and 350 for those 2 weeks, just for December and February. And then I've also asked for some more money, just $100 for additional toy purchases, because when I initially ordered all those toys, I anticipated having children from 6 to 2. And what I'm finding is I'm having a lot of teeny little infants. I had a week-old baby and a 3-week-old baby in there on our 3rd week, which is pretty impressive.
What were they doing?
They were like doing this. And no, they were sleeping mostly. They were sleeping mostly, but again, this is not just a program for the babies. It's. I was impressed that a mom could get out of her pajamas before 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a brand new baby. I thought that was pretty good. So, and you know, the moms are really loving that. They're really enjoying being able to interact with each other. They love the toys. They want to know where they came from. So I bring out the catalogs. In addition to the other stuff that we do in the baby step, I bring out a lot of books for them. I bring out stuff from the parenting collection, put it out. I take all the magazines that we get from, you know, children's services and things like that. I have everything here on the table for them to go through, and I've just started an email list too last week, so that when some special program is coming up, I can let them know, or say if something happens and I can't make it to a story time and we don't have someone to sub, I can at least let them know that, you know, I'm
Maybe you
gonna be
could
there.
look at like a yoga kind of person or something like that
I-
to come in sometimes with them.
Yeah. that would be nice with the babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who does that, so,
And there's
That
someone who
might be
comes
a
to
nice
town
thing.
hall on Fridays that does yoga.
for,
For adults.
The
so-
adults,
Adults.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if she would be, yeah.
She only
But,
charges
you know,
$5.
are you aware of the Haverhill Public Library having the early childhood resource room
no,
available?
no,
Oh.
I guess I need
In
to
the
take a
children's
field trip.
library, in the children's room. Where you're a librarian, you can go, teachers can go, and there's a separate place, and they have kits available, they have die cut machine, they have all this, oh, yeah.
Oh.
Big books,
We
big
need
some
books to
bats.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, take advantage, cause it's free,
Okay,
and that's where it is for all of Essex County,
yes.
and we're lucky it's right across the
I
road.
will
So-
fit that into my schedule.
Yeah, get over to,
Right.
see what's
But I
going on.
also think for some of your things like craft supplies or whatever, you know, we've got a big community, we've got different websites, and I think we should put some things up and see what people would be willing to donate.
Yeah.
When Gina
The
was
certain
here,
things.
that type of, the craft supplies, there was a constant request for donations, and people responded wonderfully.
I did have, I
Crayons
did
and
have a couple
markers and
people say
glitter.
that someone was gonna bring bubbles and someone else was gonna bring some crayons. A lot of our crayons are like just wax and that little pigment, the kids can't really color with them. And the majority of stuff that there is just broken, glue's dried up, I
But
mean,
if
we
you
need
put
some
it
new
out there,
supplies.
people will do that, they
Yeah.
will donate,
Put
Um,
on the
Where?
library website.
On the library
right?
website.
And
Or there's
us,
also
we
that
put-
Groveland, the newsletter,
Right.
or even the Groveland Town Crier,
Crier.
or the,
yeah, we're
the
actually
other
not
page.
posting on the town crier.
But,
No,
No, the page, what's that page, there's a,
The yard sale.
Yeah.
The closet,
the
community closet.
the yard sale page,
and explain just what you said to us at all your groups and all your reading groups, that this is what we have a very limited budget, we work really hard to raise money for
Looking
these
for
things and donations and give them a list of what
I
we
think-
need.
wish list,
I
make a
think-
wish list.
And
Yeah.
I think you need to be clear that you want new, as
Yes,
opposed to, I mean, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing, you
Yeah.
wanna,
You don't
you
want
know, you
more
don't wanna be
dried up
taking
glue.
other
Broken
people's
crayons, I've got
trash.
enough broken crayons.
but the people are very responsive to that,
Mhm.
that was a wonderful program Gina did, we kinda let it go, and we need to get it back, because.
So, and that was like a wish list section
We're
that
running
was
as fast
on
as
the
we can for
bulletin that
money.
goes
Yeah.
out.
Yes,
It-
and
it
pass
just
it
used
out,
to just, like, when people would come to the store, or she would just ask.
ask, yeah, I'll give a list of all the things, please.
See, I had asked about that very early on when I was here, and I was told that we couldn't really solicit for donations. We can.
What are you
Okay,
doing?
I haven't asked, I haven't said
We
anything.
sent her out.
not necessarily,
She's
you wouldn't
good
be
soliciting.
asking for money, but you could say,
No, no,
crayons,
yes.
And
paper,
glitter and
construction
Glue
paper.
and all that kind of, yeah,
Absolutely.
these
Felt.
numbers are just way too, they're too high.
Well, the
and
total-
We just can't,
Yeah.
The
The total
request
comes
for
to-
the
for
food,
some of the stuff,
Okay.
yeah, we just can't.
What's the total?
Hold on, the total comes to $1,342. However, the first page of the, just going back to looking at the first page for the money for the pizzas and, or the second page, I'm sorry. The teen advisory group per month, so I just did 20 per month at 8 months, is $160, and then the pizza, I just estimated high at 50 a month, at 8 months is 400. So the whole thing, just all the amounts here is $1,949, give or take 2 or 3 with my addition.
With the supplies
With the supplies.
and $700 for the two special
Yep,
programs. And you know, I you know, what do I wanna say? There's something to be said to be able to have your own crayons and ask for extra things like, you know, the
Right.
glitter. But, you know, there's some basics that you need to have.
We get a lot of kids that come to these programs, and they are great programs. So, I mean, I know we are putting money to support the adult programs, we need to put money to support the kids programs, you know.
Absolutely, but I also think we have to look into, you know, I don't mind buying crayons.
No, I
As a
completely agree
donation
with you,
to
Lori, I
you
completely agree
Yeah.
about asking for donations, but I also agree with Beth saying, we need our own supply.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of the broken crayons. We need to at
Absolutely.
least have, you know,
Absolutely.
10 packs of not broken crayons.
well, and
Absolutely.
fat ones.
Yeah.
You know, fat ones for the kids who use them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, it's good to have supplies, but you also want to have the right kinds of supplies
Mhm.
for whatever you're doing,
Absolutely.
you know? You buy cheap crayons, the crayons break and they can't color with them and.
Right.
Or they have no color.
Right,
Just
yeah,
fake
that's
colors.
exactly it.
Yeah.
I hate
So,
those.
I mean, I just put down things, what I have been trying to do is use what we have, you know, and we do have a lot of supplies if you can find them. So I do have a volunteer who comes in on Saturdays and she was going to attempt, I haven't seen her here for a while, but she was going to attempt to
She's
tackle that
overwhelmed.
closet. Because every time I go digging in
And
there, I
we
find
tackled
something.
one closet, right?
Carl, yeah,
Which
look,
closet are you talking
Carlos-
about?
I'm
His
talking
wife
about the
and I
one
did
in
this
the
one.
teen room.
Oh, in the teen room, so.
Yeah,
We cleaned that
So-
out not too long ago. I
This
believe.
Yeah,
No,
we cleaned this one.
Carlos is
Fine.
yeah,
This
that's
one.
this one.
Cleaned
Yeah.
that one, no,
Oh.
it doesn't seem too long.
it's hard to find stuff in there. It's really packed in and
Yeah.
there's all kinds of boxes that have
Narnia's in the
different things. Like I saw some googly eyes in there when my first week here. I haven't seen them since. I don't know where they are. I wanted them
Those were
100
left over
times.
from 1979.
I'm sure they are. But
They
you know,
dropped
like there was
We
a
used
whole
to
box
save
of
those
fabric
guys,
in
didn't
there that I didn't know existed, and I went out and I had to buy fabric for the pocketbook
Uh-huh.
project. And then when I came and I was looking for some felt or something in there, and then I came across this box, and I was like, ah, you know, because I had just spent, I don't know, $15 on fabric that I wished I hadn't bought.
You
They did
found
use
the
it.
die cut machines in the set.
I have the
lettering
Ellison
and
machine in
Right.
the children's room, and there aren't there's letters, the alphabet, but you know, there isn't a bat to be had when you need one,
Right.
or a pumpkin.
That's what you go to
So-
Haverhill for.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I would rather not spend money on the Ellison, which would have a much more limited use, and go to Haverhill and
Right.
bring my own construction paper, you know?
They might also have some people, like cheap people to have come, you know, entertainers,
Yeah,
a list of entertainers.
yeah, and I know
She's
that,
great. She really
So,
is.
okay, so, we need to think about this. So one of my challenges is that, it's not heavy in programs or there's not, so I'm a little concerned you might need some other things to fill in for other months. So I don't wanna preclude the fact that we might have additional requests down the line. That I think that you might end up needing. I mean, I think you might end up finding something really, really great. I mean, your programs are like this, the meat and potatoes, the standard.
yes.
And, so I think you might end up finding something you might also need, or do you think no?
No, I agree. I mean, I put this together because I really can't anticipate what's coming down the road, you know?
Yeah.
And just from looking at the binder, the folder that was left of all of the postcards, performers and stuff, that's what I was basing my request for the entertainment aspect of it. You know, I'm an artist, so I can kind of pull something out of nothing, you know, in terms of doing supporting programs. Like I know that we're showing The Wizard of Oz on December 30th, and I thought it might be kind of fun to figure out some kind of programming to kind of run concurrent with showing that movie. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it's sort of in my head, so I'm
Right, but if
thinking
you
about
don't
it.
have glue and you don't have scissors, you can't do it pretty much, you can't do a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know, but
Something
that's
on
what
the
I would
revenues
do.
Yeah.
about what we can afford most of the
Well,
time.
I would
Yeah.
think before we vote on the craft supplies, we need to clean out the closet.
I'll come
And
in
see
Saturday
what's
and look
there,
at the
you know
closet
what I'm
and try to
saying,
clean
and
it.
say, okay, we've got a gallon of glue, but we don't have any little individual glue bottles or something like
Yeah.
that, you know, and what,
Yeah,
I can bring Tim and I can come Saturday and go through that closet.
that would be great.
Let's figure out what we
I'll help you,
have.
I'm
What you
into the
have, and then
woodshed,
from
but I can go
there-
back and forth.
Before
Yeah.
we start buying, yeah.
I mean, but as far as, you know, some of
So
the
what
other
do you-
things.
So-
Yeah.
Then if we take out the craft portion of it,
Although I wanna say I would like to keep, like, the clay works is not necessarily a craft portion, it's a
Right.
program
That's a
portion.
program,
Right.
yeah.
And, so that, the other one is general supply and, okay.
Yeah, I didn't actually talk about that. So, because the teen craft night has sort of been a real kind of a miss, I was thinking, I did see another library somewhere in New York or something, they had a program that was just called Clayworks, and they made things out of clay. And I think clay has a much more appealing draw. And I'm a clay artist, I have a kiln in my home, in my studio, so I could do projects with them and take the stuff to my studio and and fire it. So that's what I put in here. My bill is usually about $20-25 higher every time I fire my kiln. It's on for 14 hours on high, so it's expensive. But you know, if we could get 12 kids in here or whatever to do clay projects, then
And I
then
think
it
you
would be
can
great.
easily do that, cause West Newbury, we've gone up to West Newbury to do clay projects, and they don't fire them, you just walk away with your
Thing.
bowl of clay.
Yeah.
And
Um,
one of the things that I was saying that I liked about
That's
it
always a
is
full
that it's
program.
consistent. It's like the same thing, like we're going to do clay or you do polymer, or even if you just go do polymers or make beads, so that you build on it. So it's like
You learn.
with Legos. You're going to do more Legos and you're going to get better at Legos, and so that. Especially with the teens, they want to be successful at it. So it's like if you come over and over again, you're gonna.
Well, the idea too is that there's some, like on one month we would do wet work where we would say make cups or whatever. Those have to dry and then they have to be fired, and then they would come back the next month and glaze those things. I take them back, and then the next month we do wet work again. And so it's sort of a back and forth thing where I can have a rotating firing schedule where we can do a platter one. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, to get their finished pieces, but also, to continue having clay projects that they can do that are, on a scale that they could complete something in the wet process and in this one session.
So this $50 firing fee would be.
That would be for 2 months, so I'm figuring like it would be like if there were 2 firings. I wasn't sure how this was gonna work. This is kind of conjecture.
So if by taking out the 250 for crafts, we're down to $1,700
And we're saying taking out the $250.
until we clean out the closet, and
And
then we can
100
revisit once we find out what's in the closet.
Yeah.
And really see what we need. There could be 12 boxes of crayons in there. Who knows?
And also the additional toys, maybe we can we have purchased several $100s worth of toys,
Yeah, that's a lot.
several $100s worth of
I
toys.
think it was 330.
Oh, not, I don't mean since you've been here, I mean just before you came.
Oh,
There were some high-end items that we had purchased.
Okay, so taking out the toys, we're down to $1,600.
And again, toys can go on a wish list. Let's
Exactly.
try the wish list.
Let's
Yeah.
try.
See what happens with it.
I also wanted to ask you where
Okay.
on Facebook.
but the thing is, I like to be able to control what toys we're ordering. I mean, these are high
No, I
quality.
mean, your wish list is
Wish
gonna
list,
be
wish
this
list.
very specific thing.
Oh, I see.
So it's not so much that the person would purchase it, because they're not gonna have access to constructive playthings,
Mhm.
but they may donate here, I
Well,
will
why
buy
wouldn't they have
this.
access to
Why not? They can go
constructive
on the
playthings?
website.
It's on the website.
No, not at those prices though, but she's,
No, anyone can.
Anybody
can
go on the
Yeah.
website.
really,
They're not
but
sale.
this isn't
Catalog
the
prices.
sale, special
Yeah.
catalog?
They do have sales,
Okay.
and
So
a lot of
it's
these
like-
things that I've requested are on sale.
Right,
As you can see,
I
until
thought
I
that was a
believe
sale
December
thing.
something.
So
Yeah,
that
I
could
mean,
be
most
part
of
your
those toys
wish
I
list.
ordered were sale things. I mean, I'm trying to be conservative here.
No,
I
absolutely.
realize that we're
No,
starting a
that's-
program and it's a big investment, but I also think that it's a program that seems to be very successful, and it's serving not just the children but the parents as well. And the only reason that I have requested additional money is because, as you can see, these are small infant toys. And that was something that I didn't have, and I'm seeing what the children are enjoying and playing with, and so I've sort of modeled what I have, especially like this infant play set. There's a lot of great rattles and
I
So
would
that's
say
what
two
you
of
put
those
on a
and
wish
that was
list.
enough for-
And ask people to sign up to donate the money or to purchase them and give them as a gift to the library.
okay.
We tried it. We
Yeah,
tried it
we
before
tried it.
we.
The same
If
with
it
the
doesn't
bubble
work,
machine.
then we figure it from there, but
Right.
Yeah, this is,
And bubble machine and bubble, that type of
It
thing.
says the other side.
bubble machine, I
Do you have
think.
something
Where's
else
it
on the
say
back?
that?
There's a bubble thing. Well,
Do you have something on the
Oh, no, do I?
I don't know.
Oh, this is the other side of this one, because when I cut the pictures out, there were these little baby rings. They're little soft things that the babies can handle. 0,
Remember I was saying soft things, the
Yeah.
little ones.
yeah.
Ah.
They're called grip and flips, and they have different textures on them and stuff to stimulate.
Do we have the correct amount, other than we take those out and we have $1,600 for
I
program?
just took
So
out the
I think
bubbles,
we
because
have
somebody
to
said
think
take out the
one other
bubbles, we're down to
thing.
$1,550.
ladies, I think we have to think of one other thing.
Yes,
We're gonna be getting a new director.
yes.
And that director's one of the first items on that person's to-do list is to hire a children's librarian.
Exactly, yeah.
So so we don't even know who's gonna be the children's librarian down the road. I mean, you may
Right.
apply for it and you may get it, or you may not apply for it. Yeah, it's like,
So you're saying you shouldn't,
no, I'm not saying you shouldn't go forward, I'm just saying I don't wanna spend too much money on the what if. I'm thinking, we're only a
Well-
couple of months into this fiscal year. I think we have to be careful.
But on the other side of that, if Rhonda's planning the programs right now, and she can book the talent and get everything
Oh, yeah,
lined up,
that
we
part,
need
yeah.
to be able to, she needs to be able to do that.
Right.
And spend some money to do that.
That's right.
I make a motion that we approve of $1,500 towards children and teen programming. I think you've done a wonderful job.
I do.
Absolutely,
Very
and
much.
none of this is criticism.
Oh, no, no.
These
no,
are
no.
just
see it as
throwing out
criticism.
ideas
Sure.
and saying, you know, can we try other things?
And
as
you're,
well.
and you're also getting a good following, which is one of the reasons why
Absolutely.
asking, people
Yeah.
to, you know, to fund the,
To
or
donate
donate the wish list.
Exactly.
You'll
Makes them
be
part of it as well.
Yeah.
We're a community we're a library that struggles financially. And we're probably the only board in town that works diligently to raise money constantly. So,
I think
I'm
you'll
sorry,
be
I'm gonna
surprised
cut you
when people will donate things for you.
Yes.
They really will.
so the main source then for asking for donations then will be from our website.
Well, you can put a
Website,
flyer
we can
up
put
on-
posters up here in the library.
And then
Yeah.
ask the people when they're, you know, at Baby Labs, to ask them.
And let's
Okay.
sit and talk about this at a different time, rather
Yeah.
than
Right.
keep going on during the
Now,
meeting,
right,
we're not.
we're
But
having
wait,
that.
wait, you need to finish your motion,
I
where do
made
you
a
wanna
motion
take it
to
from?
approve $1,500 from the donation account because that comes under programming. And that pretty much wipes out what we have for the book sale part of the donation fund. That was earmarked.
So we'll get the accounting on that.
I mean,
Do-
it's doing the
And
numbers.
so, and that also doesn't
You have a second on the
preclude,
motion?
I will second that motion.
seconded, and, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstaining? Does not preclude, you know, coming back at a later date and
Exactly.
talking about
Oh, yeah,
something else where it's, you know, not, you're getting no donation.
I think you're doing a wonderful job, Ron. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of sparkle, creativity.
Yeah, and the
bringing
room
people
looks
into the library.
fantastic.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it does.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll help you with that
Yeah.
other part, we're not just throwing you out to the wolves.
No,
Oh, no, we'll
Yeah,
help you
yeah.
with the donation,
With the
we'll
wish list
help
and
you with the
everything.
cleaning out the closet, we might discover a
That would be really awesome.
Told you, Narnia.
Rembrandt in the closet,
Narnia's
remember?
back there.
All right, thank you, good night.
Thank you, Rhonda. So where are we on the agenda? So let's go to,
Do we have that question yet? Can I ask how far that guy
Yeah.
question was?
question here?
oh, yes, we're gonna break, yeah, so let's go,
That's the actually.
5-minute break.
5-minute break to say goodbye.
And where's the
Bring your
card
card.
for?
And, is, to have the search committee, so we're back?
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. To have the, library director search committee present to the board of trustees. And, so Jenna's was the chair of that. Carlos, you wanna come over here and we'll back up as a presenting group.
Oh, that's fine. Yes, we have to back, I just have to organize myself for 1 more second. This is put this aside for a minute here. I am
Put you over in the middle.
going to give everybody a packet. This is one full packet, I'm sorry, that I'm handing out.
Alright, let me pass this around so I'm not.
Hogging.
These are given out in no particular order.
That's okay.
Do we pass this all the way around?
No.
They should all have that information. I have enough copies for everybody, should they not have it, want it, desire it, whatever. I did black out information just in case public was here, but I have full copies should, I did the best I could, you know? Come on.
All right,
I'm
everybody
sorry.
scratch it out.
I don't have magic copy machine.
They're not in any particular.
They're all mixed, oh, you took, okay. Does
I
everybody
thought I
have,
was missing a page.
everybody have a copy that needs a copy? Anybody on the side would like a copy of anything?
I did put them on.
Okay. You can black out things.
These are the 3 people that you guys are recommending.
So these, yes, so these are the 3 people that we are recommending. We just wanted to go through the process one more time.
Remind everybody.
to remind everybody what we did. So we did initial short phone interviews with everybody. That was 6 candidates. At that point, we dropped it down, then we decided on in-person or Skype interviews because of the distance of some people were coming, and we did 5 of those. And then, so now we're at the phase where we're presenting the 3 candidates, again, in no particular order, to you. I shared with you the questions that we asked during the phone interviews and then the in-person and Skype interviews. Everybody was asked these same questions, in both phases. So at this point, we are sort of gonna leave it up to you, but we'll go over what we thought were our points over of all the candidates. And then we can decide, should you wish to interview them, we're going to ask that you interview all 3 of them. Until we get down to the 2. Once we get down to 2, we'll have them come in person, meet with patrons, staff, us again. Those will all be open meetings, as with the interviews, should they happen again with you, us. And
So
then
at this
nominate
point,
as
we're
selectmen.
gonna be doing interviewing of them, but not in-person interviewing of them, is that what?
If you choose to interview the 3 that are here, they'll either be done by Skype or in person, depending on the distance. One is from Oklahoma. He is going to be in the area in the very near future, so should you wish to speak with him, we can make that arrangement. But once we get down to the 2 is where we would then fly them out if necessary, or bring them here, make arrangements for them to come.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And after we get down to 2, then they would be meeting with staff, have it open to the patrons who would wanna meet, them, and if any board member happened to miss the interview part, then the board member could come. I mean, everybody's welcome. But I was thinking if it was like, 3 in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon to 5:30, you'd be able to catch both people that were working or not working.
So we started with a pool of 10 candidates. 4 dropped out before the interview process. As I said, we did phone interviews with 6. We did 3 in-person interviews and 2 Skype interviews. Everyone was asked the same questions. And then you have resumes for Michael Sullivan, Francis Domeno, and Eleanor Rogers in front of you.
Did you have a question, Laura?
Well, I'm just wondering, are we to read this now, or is this for us to peruse and come back at another time?
No,
We'd
Oh,
like
okay.
you to read it now.
Okay, because I'm trying to listen and can't read and listen. at
So
the same
what are
time.
you expecting of us tonight?
Right,
What are
this is
we
what I'm
expected to do tonight?
We need to decide tonight whether you'd like to interview all 3, whether you think you can look at the resumes with discussion from us, with things that we think about, and could choose 2, and then we bring them in for interviews and site inspections. So it's sort of, right now, it's one of those, it's a toss right now.
It could go many
Different ways at this
you
point.
could decide
No,
Two-
2 ways.
2 ways.
2 ways. Do you want us to go over the sort of the highlights of each person? Would that make it easier for you as you're looking through?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is like a lot to be reading and trying to. I could,
Please, I would say, take 5 minutes and read it.
Yeah.
okay.
I have a question. When was the decision made among the trustees that we were willing to relocate someone?
We're not willing to relocate them, we're only flying them in for an interview if it's necessary. We are not willing to relocate, that is on their own expense.
It appears to be here that there's relocation is a foregone conclusion, with or without this. I mean,
Sounds like it.
it looks like they're going to relocate.
Yes,
Or
two
going
of
to be
them
relocated.
live fairly locally.
Right.
One is in Rhode Island and he said he would, very much most likely consider moving to this location. One is currently moving to Rockport, so it's a little easier. One is from New Hampshire, wants to come back this way.
So these
one-
people already know the salary and they know all
Yes.
those things, so they've kept themselves in through all of that
Yes.
process at this point.
Yes, and they were reminded of that with the last email that I sent them, telling them that they were the 3 candidates being moved forward to the board.
And
They all
nobody-
have master's library science.
They all do.
Were you in any way concerned with length of employment on your employment records?
You were hopping around every year or two.
Was there any concern that you felt in that?
We discussed it, but it wasn't a major concern.
But that would be, our questions were standard questions versus specific to resume. So that would be where the next interview could address those specific kind of questions. And some of the resumes were written in different formats, so you have to, you have to, it's hard to see where any gaps might exist, or they were overlapping because they were doing several
Yes.
roles.
Not only that, you're talking about people hopping around. Remember, the last 2 directors you've had here have only been here for 2 years.
Yeah, and the last
No,
one.
the
Yeah,
one
2 to
before was
3.
there for 4 years.
Yeah.
But still, they move.
Oh, yes,
It's a
Well, she
position where
wanted more
people
money,
move.
yeah.
It's a position where people move.
it is, because it's an entry level or a wrapping particular level.
Well,
Right.
it's a smaller library compared to a lot of other ones that people are.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
And you move from, up in responsibility from, reference librarian to associate director to director.
Can I ask Denise a question? Denise, is there still a 6-month probationary period?
There is.
And are they eligible for insurance? Has that changed, the insurance in that 6 month?
They're eligible for insurance 90 days following the first day of the month. So they really are not eligible for insurance until 3 months in, but they are eligible during the 6 months probation. And I will say, just to comment on the moving around, I believe all 3 of these candidates are roughly in the same age range, and they all express that they are looking for a position to last 10 years or so until they retire. They're not looking for jumping around, they're really looking to establish a career that they can finish out their career and retire from. So they've all expressed that.
So the search committee has spoken to them, Skype, phone.
Yes.
I have one issue, and I've just kind of perused them quickly. I've been on a search committee before, it was incredibly well run. And I know how much work goes into it, I know how much thought and time goes into it. And when a search committee is appointed, in my view, we're looking for the expertise and the knowledge of the search committee to make a recommendation. What your feeling is as a number of loving them 1, 2, and 3.
We discussed that, and we decided that we wanted to give them all a level playing field. Wanted you all to have a look at the resumes. We'll go through sort of our talking points with you after you have a look at them.
Okay.
But we did discuss that. We could have gone either way with saying 1, 2, or 3.
I will just jump in and say, I will tell you, the 5 of us were unanimous in our top choice.
Yes.
All 5 of us had the exact same top choice of who we would recommend as number 1.
Yes.
We were kind of split on 2 and 3.
Well, 2 and 3 are very hard to choose.
We were all the same, all 5 of us were convinced on the top 3. We all
Yes.
fell in with the same number 1, and then
Yes.
2 and 3 just kind of,
If there's a motion on the board to request a search committee to divulge the number 1 person, I'm going to make that motion. And then we can discuss and zero in on that. I make a motion that we request the search committee to divulge the number 1 choice.
Okay. Do we have a second?
A second.
Can I just ask one question, because it's gonna be people coming in to, I don't know, I just wonder if that's gonna sway,
That's why we didn't want to give
I'm
you
not sure
our
if it's,
top
I'm not
1,
trying
2,
to be,
3.
I mean, I want to know, I don't know if it's,
What do you mean, people
There.
coming in?
well, when the, like,
We're swaying their decision.
everybody comes in
looking.
to be a part of the interview process, I mean, this is gonna be seen, I'm not sure if, I don't know, that it just feels a little,
Many of the candidates already peruse our website, have watched some of the sessions, are very aware of the sessions and what happens at the Board of Trustees. So one of the reasons why we didn't want to discourage people from thinking, well, I ain't got this position, so they already picked their guy or girl, so I'm gonna
But
move
if-
on, and then it turns out that they decide that they don't wanna continue, and we're stuck with, we want you to continue.
Yeah, and it could be another 3-4 weeks, or, you know, by the time we get, an interview together for the trustees, and then we get them to come in for the site visit, you know,
Why
Things-
couldn't that be all the same day?
It could be depending on timing.
I
It
have a
could be
motion on the table.
If we bring-
I'm sorry, I just gonna say, because we thought it would be best, instead of bringing 3 people here, that, you know, you as a group would narrow it down whether it's based on what we discussed tonight or based on your own opinions, from the 3 to 2, and then those 2 you would bring in for site visits. So it's really up to you if you wanna interview all 3, if you wanna just discuss it tonight and pick 2 to move forward. So you certainly could, if you choose to not interview all 3 and you're gonna go to 2, yes, you could have you could interview with the trustees and the public and the staff in the same day. What we would
I
just
like that
suggest is
idea.
if you choose to interview the 3 before you get to 2, you have to do all 3. You can't pick and choose out of the 3, because that's the next step, is narrowing it down.
So where do we go with the motion that's on the table?
I have one more thing to
Yep.
say. So there was 470 some hits on views on one of our meetings.
Mhm.
So
400.
400.
On one of our meetings, yeah.
Just looking at these resumes without talking to the people or getting any input from people that have talked to them, for me, you know, I can't get a good feel off of these, cause I have a bad feel on some things, but it may be not necessarily the appropriate. Because I haven't talked to the person, or I haven't.
And we don't know how they answer the questions either.
But
Oh, wait, you know,
we can, that's
But
what
you're
we're,
gonna give the,
that's
Let
what
them
we're
give
doing.
us, you know what,
That's
Kathy,
what-
let's hold on
That's
that
That's what
motion.
I'm saying, let's hold them and
Let's
let
hold
them
on that
see
motion.
us.
right, and then we
So
can
now that
kind
you've
of
had a
just-
few minutes to look at them,
Yeah.
we'll just go over, you know, some,
Which one are you starting with?
I'll start with Michael.
Okay.
So,
And
we've
this
had
is the agreement of all of you, or are you all gonna, okay,
No, we've all compiled this list together,
Okay.
Yeah.
what's gonna be discussed.
Yeah.
okay.
So he was very well spoken and enthusiastic. He's been a director at 3 public libraries as well as an interim at 1. His supervised staff has budget creation and maintenance experience, more than 15 budgets over his career. Has long-range planning experience. He's very staff-focused, thinks that training and supporting staff is very important. A library generalist at heart. He likes to be involved in everything, likes to know what everybody's job is and make sure everybody knows how to do other jobs. Loves children.
Cross-training.
Yep. Has been a special needs teacher. Has family in southern New Hampshire. He's from New Hampshire and, you know, would need to relocate from Oklahoma about 4 to 6 weeks time, he said. Anybody else wanna add anything about Michael other than our points here?
So the other thing that I thought was really good, he publishes in young adult literature, that is, you know, excellent. It's an age group that a demographic we're looking to get into, the teens.
is he the one that had all those?
Why do we have
publications for boys?
1 year, I mean, was that brought up?
Yeah, I mean, Brookline, 1 year,
There's a lot of
Ever
1 years
1
on
year.
here.
but Greenland, New Hampshire was 5 years. And then after that, it was,
4 years in Stratford.
Some of them were the same year, cause he did talk about multi-year, I mean, doing many things.
Mhm.
Where the heck did mine look bag go?
Right, I mean, there's overlap here. Camping supervisor, Museum of Science, circulation assistant at the School of Divinity, Weston and Cambridge.
So, you know, again, that generalist,
jump up from
Oh, all right, okay, I wasn't putting together
Yeah.
the,
Oh, sure, of course.
1999 to 2000.
Yeah, like, you're saying the top 3,
Yeah.
or the ones with the dashes? The
So he's
2013?
still,
he's still there.
He's still there. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I got that, but I wasn't putting together the similar years. I was just seeing 90 to 91.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't even looking down that road, they made 1999 to 2000.
Alright, so these are all current, okay.
That's
Yeah.
1 year, 2000 and 2001, that's 1 year, but then the next one was 5 years.
Well, and I think, but if you look at the positions, it goes from, I mean, I don't know what size the Putterham branch manager, what he did there, but you know, then he went up to a supervisor, then he moved up to a director.
And that's
So you can't
just-
really fault him for advancing his career. I know the
Absolutely.
longevity is short, but he was definitely looking to advance in his career, and that's why I think he continually moved up.
And that's
They
just
went
when
up.
he graduated
The
from
director
library
one, he
school
was
as
there
well.
5 years.
Correct.
So that's,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
that's, and then it looks like he got out of the library business and went into the school business.
And he's back into
And then he
library
went back to
business.
the library
Yeah.
business, yeah.
He seemed very, very passionate about library work.
And considers himself a young children's librarian also.
Yes. So,
He
he,
considers himself a young children's librarian.
As well. Like he's
Knowledgeable.
that,
Well,
yeah, a children's young adult. And
Right.
he made a comment that he was very appreciative of the fact that, we had currently had an interim and that we weren't filling the positions as Carlos had pointed out that, and he made special note to say that as a director, that is appreciated. There's your two key staff of your adult librarian and your children's librarian. And, you know, they know everything that's going on. They know about our long-range plan. They're very well read on
Yeah.
about the
They do
library.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You were surprised, yeah.
And so he's a 4 to 6 week before he would be,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
The second one is Francis Domeno. He's been I'll let you get that. I also included their cover letters so you could see that too, so. He's been a director at 3 public libraries, has supervised staff, does have budget creation and maintenance experience. He thoroughly researched our library, knew our mission statement, budgets, staffing levels.
Oh, he's probably been
Trustees.
here. That's what we found, that people were coming in when I was.
Don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling,
No.
but just about everything up until walking in the door.
That's-
Very much a rule follower, very cautious and conservative when it comes to administration.
How did you pick that up?
From how he answered some questions with us, how he answered, I think it was a staffing management style question, was a management question.
And he also would come back and say, like if he was answering a question about, one of our questions was, how did you get into a library administration? And he started answering about, how did I get involved in libraries? And then he stopped himself and said, oh, well, library administration, that's about, this is how I got into library administration. So, he, sort of realized where he wasn't going.
I mean, Rhode Island to Groveland?
He said he would
No, we-
relocate.
Okay. 'Cause that's
It was about a
real
2-hour
nice.
drive for him to get
Oh,
up
yeah,
here for the
it is.
interview.
'Cause my husband's family is down there, it's
Yeah.
a drive.
But he did drive down and we offered him the ability to
Skype.
just
This
Skype
guy,
in.
but he wanted to do in person.
Yeah.
And he's said he would come back at any time to talk to anybody should we wish to have him come in again. And then the third resume,
And is
I'm
that,
sorry?
everybody, that's pretty much what you guys want us to know on this person? You all, whatever Jen's saying is something that's come from all of you,
Mhm.
that's correct?
Oh, yeah.
we compiled our notes
All right,
together.
okay.
And then, Eleanor Rogers, she was lovely, very personable. She's been a library director in a school library, not a public library, but has worked in a ton of public libraries and
In
is
what capacity?
a children's librarian
Adult service.
in adult services
Right.
and
And a
reference. And a
I
director,
mean,
Right, sick or
supporting.
but that was a
director.
school.
Oh, down here.
Oh, right,
that was school
Remember
library.
Yes, but she was a director in the school library.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
For many years.
many years. And she's currently working in 2 public libraries as a children's librarian and a substitute in other libraries.
Very knowledgeable about the budgets and, you know, staying on budget,
Right.
there is no choice, you stay on budget, you know? And they all were very versed in budgets.
Yes, she has long-range planning experience.
And
She's,
grant writing.
yeah, and grant writing. She's supervised staff in her school libraries and volunteers in public libraries.
She comes from Hingham to Beverly?
She currently
moving
does.
to
She's
She's
moving
moving
to
to Rockport on November first.
And Saugus too, she's working in Saugus.
In Saugus as well, yeah.
That's not on her resume, but it's.
I have an
been added.
updated one that she just sent me again when I asked for new references, but I had already printed these out and I didn't wanna print that out again, but
Say the truth.
yes, but all three of them were, you know, you could tell that they were library people. You know, this is what they do, this is what they want to do, you know, for, as Denise said, for the rest of their careers. They're looking for a nice, you know, a nice library to come into.
Yeah, dig into and,
Stay.
yeah,
Stay.
yeah,
Because they've already
done the
moved up their
moving.
ladders.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
now they're-
And we've said that often, that, you know, would be a good place to start and a good place to end. And in the middle part, you know, they leave, so.
So she's been a director at a school library.
School library,
But
yes.
not, I mean, how many people are you overseeing in a school library by comparison to a public library?
Well, more than the public library.
Right, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
numbers wise, it would be pretty comparable to here.
Yeah.
The difference is, she didn't, with the school, she didn't work directly for, you know, the school committee, she had a principal, so there was someone above her. She didn't set the budget in the school library, she worked with the budget she was given, so, but she had experience on other avenues working and generating budgets, but with her school experience, that's really the difference. It was still a public entity, it still required town meeting approval, school committee still had to vote and approve her programs and things of that nature. So, but it just wasn't her really dealing with them, it was her dealing with the principal, and the principal dealing with the school committee.
It's really more levels.
More levels, yes,
And here, she doesn't have a big say in her budget either, not really.
correct.
Yeah.
And you've been checking references and
We've
talking
not
to
checked references yet, we wanted to get this far,
Yeah.
but when I emailed them, telling them they were all coming forward to this phase, they've all sent me now current references. You know, we wanted to get down to the two before we started going deeper into.
It seems to me, in my opinion, that it would be good to meet three. I mean, if it was trying to weed down from 10 or 6 or something, but if you're saying to drop one of 3.
That was our job,
Yeah.
to
That's
weed
right.
down from 10
That's
to
right.
6.
But it seems to me, I don't think that I have enough information to say to you, I think these two are the ones. I think that it might make sense, what's 3 versus 2?
I respectfully disagree. I really still feel that a search committee does the work, and I'm gonna reintroduce my motion that the search committee tell us who their first choice, was. In 45 minutes or an hour that we're spending, we don't have the information. I make a motion that the search committee
I
tell
need
us who
some
their
guidance
first
from
choice
you
was.
guys.
Michael
And I-
Sullivan is our first choice. I'm sorry, Anne Marie.
I made a
No,
motion
I don't want
that
to.
we
Wait, we didn't have a we didn't
Okay,
finish
but
our
it
motion.
did actually finish the motion already. You held it off once, so I apologize if I jumped ahead of you, but you did finish the motion. It was seconded.
No, we didn't vote on it.
And I thought it was.
I'm sorry. I jumped ahead.
vote.
You need to vote.
We don't need that.
Well, if it was a motion, it should be,
It
I
should-
It
apologize.
has to be followed.
it has to be,
Yeah.
So someone needs to second the motion.
it's been seconded.
Okay,
It
so then
hasn't
we
been
need
all
to.
approved.
So all in
Alright.
favor?
Aye.
My statement.
Opposed
Abstaining.
Abstaining?
or abstaining?
Abstain?
It's fine.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I was,
So I was
Michael
just, the only
Sullivan-
thing, I was just gonna suggest maybe that we did the top 2. That, and then your recommendation for the top 2.
Like I said,
Yeah,
though, we
then
don't
we
have
don't
exact
have
numbers.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
have to.
we don't have a 2. Our 2s were tossed.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was a toss up.
Okay,
Let's
I mean,
make
Depends on who you talk to, who's 2 and 3.
Yeah, yeah. One was unanimous and 2 was
I respect I respect the opinion of the search committee, and, then it would be up to the and we need to bring in two, is that correct?
Or meet with all three.
Right, you either meet with all three and then bring
Or
it down to
select it to
two, or select from here to bring it to two.
I respect the opinion of the search committee, they spent hours and hours and meeting at it, and,
And I think we need to clarify that any one of these three, we would be happy with.
oh, excellent. And
Yes.
we've been in that position before in search
Right.
committees, but ultimately, you hire one
Right,
direct
right.
Person.
And I'll tell you, the difference, and maybe I'm speaking and I shouldn't, but, what brought us to a sort of a standstill on numbers 2 and 3, I can tell you that Francis is much more experienced, has much more public library experience. His personality wasn't as likable as Eleanor. Eleanor was very likable, very pleasant, she came across very enthusiastic, where she maybe lacked in the public library experience a little bit, so that's why some of us lean towards experience, some of us lean towards personality. We like them all, we think they could all do a great job, it was really just preference on meeting with them and interacting with them, or knowledge and what you based your opinion on. But Michael was clearly met both of those, he was very experienced, he was very, very likable, very well
Passionate.
spoken, passionate.
I think they were all passionate. They were
Yes.
all passionate.
They were definitely all passionate, and they all had passions in different areas.
One thing
It
I'd
was
like to add to
exciting.
it, our interview with Michael, because he was in Oklahoma, was by Skype. You get a different experience when you're one-on-one with a person
That's right.
versus in front of a computer screen. And yet Michael is by far, all five of us are in agreement. We think he was the best candidate.
Like, he would've
No.
jumped out of the,
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
Screen.
jumped
The
out.
screen. I didn't feel like I was missing his personality.
And the other two, we've met personally, and yes, we still have a difference of opinion on that.
Yeah.
And I think Denise expressed that very
Right,
well.
yeah,
with
no,
our
very,
differences
very
of
well.
opinion.
So,
So then I think we bring in the three, because they can't give us the top
like-
two.
I like Barbara's idea about why can't we make it all at the same time? It might end up being 2 days, but instead of splitting it to the board first and then but
Yeah.
bring all three to the staff and to the public
I think that's an
and the
excellent
board at the
idea.
same
And
time.
as a member of the community,
that
I
not
think
your
that's a
idea?
good idea to have the exposure to all three.
Barbara, did I misinterpret your idea?
No,
Okay.
no reason
Do
they
you
can't
meet
come
all
in
three
the
at the same
afternoon and-
time?
No,
No, no, no,
No, I meant
But within the same
all
time
three
period.
aspects.
Yeah, I mean, they
all
can meet
three
with the staff in the
aspects.
afternoon, meet with us in the evening, and, be done. But.
Well, no, I mean, if you're gonna bring in the three people, then you'd have them meet the staff and then us, and then the next person, the staff and then
Right.
us.
Yeah, you'd have to do it in
You don't
different
have-
You can't
days,
do,
obviously.
you can't do daytime and evening, cause then you've got people just kinda hanging around.
No, no, it wouldn't all be in the
Afternoon.
same day.
No,
Okay.
you
Um,
can't have all three of them the same day.
Right.
They'd overlap.
You actually could have
Well,
two.
we had two in the same day.
You could
In
have
fact, they knew
two.
each other, they met each other in the hall.
Yeah, and that's not inappropriate. That happens
I mean,
all
you
the
couldn't
time.
set a 2-hour time slot for
Oh, sure you
three?
can.
Well, if we do it on a Saturday, but I couldn't do it on a weekday. Everybody take a vacation day.
But you've already made your.
we've already met them, so this is really
So it's
up
a
to
matter of
the
us.
6 of you.
is it necessary
staff.
to?
But when it comes down to it, all 9 trustees are still involved.
We
Yeah, but you
decided
can't
that,
bring it to two.
right, if you can't bring it to two, the group can't bring it to two, and you want to interview,
All three.
you need to interview all three. In essence of fairity and,
They can't
Keep
give
it.
us a 2 and a 3. They give us.
Well,
You
you may
got-
disagree
Can we
with
just-
our, you may
Two and
disagree
three.
with our
We
top choice.
just
No,
interview
you already
the
have.
other two.
No,
If,
Well,
say
and that's why I'm
you've
saying you
already-
really shouldn't, because then you're
No.
taking,
That's right.
you know, you may not agree with our top choice,
Right.
and then, so
Right.
you shouldn't just exclude one and interview the other two,
Absolutely.
because one of them may come shining through, and you say, well, we never interviewed number one, so how do you know how they compare? So that's why we said, if you're gonna interview anybody as a group, it should be all three. Or you go to two and do the site visits. You can certainly do the site visits for 3 people, we were just trying to help, narrow it down a little bit, so you're not dealing with residents, patrons, staff, trustees with 3 different people, cause then there's another name in the mix, and then you might come to like a stalemate, everyone picking a different person.
yeah, but the only people that vote is the board of
It's true.
trustees.
Yep, it's
So
true.
it's still the same 9 people.
That's right.
I totally want the staff, to meet
And feel comfortable.
and I love the idea of, bringing it to the to the public and patrons, and we have fabulous core patrons, and then the additional, so it was great having this search committee, and thank you very much for being here, thank you, and Ron and Jen and leading it, I mean Carlos and Jen,
Yes.
and leading it, so I appreciate it.
Should you wish to interview all three, one advantage to this is Mr. Sullivan will be here next week.
Oh, so we don't have to pay for him to come.
Correct.
He's coming to visit anyway.
Correct.
Wow.
But it would have to be based on the days that he
He's
is available. Sorry, the week after, it's
The week
Right,
after
for-
next.
the first week of November.
Okay. That's
Well, and that
not-
would actually work very well in a timeline to set up,
Yeah.
you know, your schedule, figure out how you want it to work with the staff, how you wanna set it up, you know, with the trustees, the patrons, and that would give you some time to.
Yeah, and the other two we could do next week, or at least one.
Yeah, I just have to, because I told him I would
Yeah,
coordinate.
I mean, they're
you
local
know.
enough that we should.
So what day?
If you could all let me know when you could.
So is he here for the whole week, or?
No, he's here, he could be here Monday the 3rd during the day,
That's the following week.
the following week, so first week of November, or the 4th or the 5th.
And what's the 4th and the 5th, is that?
It's a Tuesday or
So
Is that
Tuesday
a
is the
day?
election day, just to keep that in
Oh,
mind.
then I
Fourth is
can't do
election day.
anything on election day, cause I'm working, so.
When's the election day?
The 4th.
The 4th
Tuesday. It's always a Tuesday.
Or the fifth.
is Wednesday.
And is that day and night, or just day, or?
The only one he was specific on was Monday, and that would be during the day. And then he's just said or the 4th or the 5th.
It's those commas, get you every time.
Well, I have to be out on the 4th, cause I work over at the election all day, so I can't get away at all.
And it's till 8.
It starts at 6 and, well, no, the polls close at 8, but then
That's
we
when
don't
it
go
goes
down.
down.
Oh, yeah,
Then they
yeah,
count.
yeah.
9, 10,
You know,
11.
I was thinking you would be able to come over, because they're open, but yeah, forgot about that,
Yeah.
the other
so-
part.
So that's out
God bless you.
for me, but the
Yeah.
other two, I'm sure I can make work.
So,
Unless it was that day and you had like an hour you could take off and come over or something. If that was the only day that worked.
Yeah, if that's the only day that works for everybody else, I
Yeah,
can
there's
find
only-
someone to cover
there's-
me.
2 other registrars as well.
Thing is, the library is open on
Oh.
election day, isn't it?
At 12.
yeah, Rhonda's gonna have them
She's
vote.
gonna have the
At
ballot.
10,
That's right.
on election day, it's a Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Tuesday we're going to.
So do we need to make a motion about meeting all three? I make a motion to meet all three.
I second the motion.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed?
Sure, okay.
Just like
Is that an oppose or is that an in
It's an
favor?
opposed, but you know, I'll go along with the flow here.
Well, we
I've
still
got
have
two, I
people that
think.
didn't say anything.
And
said
any,
yeah, I said
anybody
yes.
Oh, you did, I didn't.
abstain?
I would
Majority
much
one.
prefer to take to take the recommendation of the search committee, but that doesn't seem
What,
to
to
be
take
an option.
one? They
Yes.
can't give us 2 and 3. They're telling us to
They
bring it
said
down to
this one is
2.
far and above, so that's, I mean, that's,
Oh,
and you know
I
what,
see
I'm
what you're
kind of
saying.
Well, we
tack
have to
back
bring
to
it down to
getting
2.
the way it
Like, just
always
go
was,
down one.
the search committee brought their choice of a candidate to meet
Yeah.
the board of
Right,
trustees.
Okay.
but
Okay.
where we felt it was a little different is we thought it was important to include staff and patrons.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We thought that,
Right.
because of the short turnaround time in the last few positions and the rotating staff that's
Right.
been here, we really wanted to include patrons and
Absolutely.
staff, just to meet and so that
Right.
so that people felt like they were involved in the process.
And we really wanted
It's
to
gonna be confusing to patrons to meet 3 people, and then they're not gonna really know who got it, or they're gonna have their
Well-
heart set on one, and then that
So does
person
the
doesn't get it.
trustees.
Well, I think that's part of due process.
Yeah.
Well, it is, absolutely,
and
but
they
I
have to
mean, I'm just thinking of
understand
the
that.
patrons being, oh, I really liked her,
And I think that's
Well, how
also.
many
But the
pa-
same may go
How
for
many
us.
patrons are really gonna see these people?
That's
Well-
true.
Part of the question.
That's true.
Absolutely.
You're
And
right.
then the other part is that then you realize the challenges that we're faced to it, is that, you know, you get, you know, three good candidates and then you make an offer and they're interviewing other places and
That's true.
they're gone.
And that's
Right.
happening.
You know,
That's
and,
happening.
Sure it is.
right. And
so,
we wanted the staff involved, but because
Yeah.
one of our candidates was in-house, it wasn't it made it very uncomfortable for our staff to be involved until we
Right.
got to this
On
point.
the,
So
on the
that's
search committee, it was,
Well, I
wasn't
think it's a
considered.
good plan, and I think you've done a wonderful job, and mine was a yay. I
Okay,
didn't say
I
that
didn't
loud,
hear you
I said it
say
in my
anything,
head.
so I was like,
But I think
She
that
nodded.
now we have to decide what days we're gonna see these people, so that we.
Yes, and we also need to talk about, and I know it's getting late, is, whether we continue the, bibliotemp contract, and, there's another thing under that,
I think we have to keep it for a while because of the scheduling.
I think that we
But
could,
do we wanna
Finish
finish
this,
this part of
okay.
it?
and there was,
then
and there
move
was,
to the
yeah,
next?
okay, so can I send a schedule out? Is it for
for,
everybody to sort of fill in with their available time? Is that okay? That doesn't break any?
Can do that.
Okay, I will send everybody a calendar out, if you can just fill in what would be available to you, and then I will
Like a Google Doc.
I will send a Google Doc out to everybody.
Okay, and this is gonna be like a specific time frame, not just, Tuesday, but like.
What I
give
would
me a real
ask you to
time
do-
slot So I can,
What I will ask you to do is, if I send you the calendar, if you tell me on Tuesday you're available from 3 to 5,
gotcha, okay.
and
Or
you
if
tell
you're
me you're
available
available
all
all day,
Right.
then I can work around that schedule.
And then, and you can't drive yourself crazy trying to get it for all night. If you get a quorum and.
Well, I think it's important that you guys get.
Right,
to
it's
see
not
this.
us,
Oh, right.
it's,
Cause we've already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you only have
Yeah.
one
Bunch of
person
us
to
work,
lose, so you have a quorum
Right, interesting.
there.
Yeah, that's true.
and then are we also gonna pick, so let's just assume that we see him November 3rd or November 5th, and we see the other people next week. Then should we also be setting up a date of when we can all meet? Because we don't want this to linger, guys.
right,
We
no,
really
I
wanna
would
get
set that,
this
as soon as
off.
we're done with the interviews, we will set up another meeting for either later that week or the following week.
Can we do it now?
Well, we did discuss that you do have an earlier November meeting,
Mhm.
so
November
our hope,
17th.
so our hope was to have everything done for your meeting, so that's
For the
still
November 17th.
well within.
I'd love to do it before November. I would love to push this and push it hard as much as we can, as long as we all
Plus,
feel
it's gonna take
comfortable
up
with
so
it,
much time.
because
within a
we
meeting.
really wanna get this in
We
place.
understand that.
But first,
Yeah.
We've been taking a lot of time
Gail,
on
when it
this.
is time to,
Yeah.
what is the start date that these people are available? If
We
they
gave
can-
them a start date from November 1st to January 1st.
And,
So it differed.
It all different.
Different.
It was part of that, it was
Yes.
so 4 to 6 weeks for one, 2 weeks, December 1st or later.
Yeah, so,
You know.
so Francis could give a 2-week notice and he would be satisfied with
Right.
giving a 2-week notice.
And, and commuting until.
And commuting until he found
relocated.
something or relocated.
Eleanor is moving on November 1st, so she just asked that it wasn't a November 1st start date, that if it could be December 1st would be great for her.
Correct.
and Michael?
4 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
'Cause
Michael
he
was probably
is in
December to
Oklahoma.
January.
Right.
Oh, to December to January?
Sometime probably in there would be his time
Yeah.
frame.
Okay. So I think,
You okay,
I think-
Laura?
It is something bitten or something.
oh,
Oh my god.
I'm like, see it?
Yeah.
You've been scratching it, yeah.
okay,
I have a
so.
better
I
job.
just would love
Yeah.
to see something sooner than the 17th.
And we
so that
agree,
can
you
put
know,
things in.
yeah.
Do you need
Maybe
a
one
better job?
meeting that
No,
will
that's
just be on this, and then the 17th we can have a regular.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright,
'Cause-
well, what
Yeah.
about, is the 12th the Wednesday?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we
Yeah.
meet
Yeah.
with him either the 4th or the 5th,
I don't think we need to, I think with using the Google Docs and putting availability down will get us both, we're talking about 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
either if we can
okay.
get 2 interviews on one day, I have no problem with that. I think 3 is ridiculous.
okay.
Yeah.
And, then we could have, another person and the final meeting all on the same day or 3 different days.
And do you think that we can coordinate that, the staff and patrons could meet Michael that week that he's here?
Well, it's funny,
It
I
has to
was,
be the day
I
we
was
have
just
him here.
thinking, when you said that, Beth, that if you, it would be difficult, but you could certainly set up your library that in this room was the trustees, you use another area for the staff and use another area for the patrons, and actually you could have all 3 and have each person at a different station and time,
Right.
and rotate if you could get
In one
everybody.
day,
That way you have
yeah.
everybody in the library for a period of 3 hours, and
Yeah.
everyone meets 1 hour.
Yep, we-
If that's
Yeah.
feasible, you could do something like that. You would have to have obviously other people here to buffer, so your candidates aren't mingling, and you don't
Right,
wanna have
so
it
maybe
uncomfortable.
maybe
Well,
Ron
and
could
who's
be
the-
there,
or I
I'm
could
not
come
sure,
And
and
who's
you
running
could,
who's running the library?
Correct.
It's for the staff, because we'd be here, they'd be there.
Right, so,
Correct.
maybe it's a page that
Right,
just.
so you
checking
certainly
people
could
out.
do something like that if you wanted to try and get it all in one day and actually have different areas where, and that's very common when people go in for interviews, they meet with one person after another, so you
That's
could
right.
do it
Yeah,
and do all
If we
three.
did it on a Monday or a Wednesday when the library's open in the evening, it'd give us more time to do that,
Mhm.
which would be
Well,
the
let's see
third or
what
the
we come
fifth.
up with.
but we could
So
have, the-
I
we
will
could have
send
the
everybody
library
out a
open
calendar
and
tomorrow,
it's how much
and
we
if everybody
want.
can just fill in their
The
time.
patrons wouldn't be here, and the staff wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
When? At night if the library wasn't normally
Oh,
open.
if it's open.
Well, let's see what.
Alright, let's get
Let's-
let's get
Yeah.
the email out.
Okay.
And,
Excellent.
so the sooner we get it filled, the sooner we can move forward, and, when third, fourth, and fifth are the primary things to.
Third and
If you
fifth.
can't, if you don't have
Third and
your,
fifth.
the rest of your calendar, at least get the third, fourth, and fifth answered.
Yeah.
That would be appreciated.
Alright,
And then you wanted some about, the interim?
So do we have to vote? Do we,
Oh, do
I'm
we
sorry.
Well, we had a motion
We
and a
did,
second.
Already did, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And we have a, okay, you're all set on that,
Yeah.
All right.
Carl?
So,
Who's that,
Denise offered to stay in case we had any questions that, she might be able to answer. Ron, you are totally welcome to stay, but,
Not
For a
required.
little bit. I'm gonna go. Hey, I was up late watching that ball game last night, I mean.
obviously.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Ron, thank
thank
you.
you all very much for
Yeah.
your hard work and
You're
doing all of
welcome.
this and taking the time.
No top chefs on at 10 o'clock.
I'll have another beer and one top shelf.
My kid's still out there, so we gotta wrap this up. So,
He hasn't come by, he hasn't come by one single time.
no, he's on the computer.
So,
Thank you, Ron.
Okay, so,
You, the day
let's
you
go back.
met me, I got Laurie into your life.
Library director,
No, who to blame.
I would like to table, I actually did not go through the director's report to see if there was anything that was, vital for timing. I don't think there was. I mean, I read it, but I didn't, like,
No, there was
There
nothing
was
on
nothing.
it,
that,
no.
the vouchers are gonna be, fine,
Oh, yeah, aren't there
and
vouchers we need to sign?
There was supposed
there
to
are
be
three on,
vouchers
there's
here.
three on the table,
I
or
don't-
two on the table.
These aren't them, those are my papers.
It might be with
From
me,
the,
cause I need to, I
From
did
community
have it.
preservation and from the, a donation of the art, we really need to put that on
I
next
need them
month's.
back.
We need a good thank you on that.
So,
You need signatures on this.
Yeah.
So I make a motion to table director's report, it's emailed, there's not really, we don't have to vote to take
So
it.
you want a motion?
But what I
You
want-
entertain a motion?
What I wanna do is talk about staffing update under the director's report. We posted the library assistant job, it is posted, it's on the library website, it's on the town website, it's been emailed out,
What job?
the library assistant,
we voted on
the
having,
third one that we went to town.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you guys had a candidate in mind.
accept
she didn't accept.
She had
She's already
gotten
taken it.
another position, local to her house, which, she lived in Berwick, Maine, so that would have been a challenge, although she didn't mind it. Anyway, the next one, is, we have posted the page position, also,
Come back.
it's not as, it's not, on our website yet, but it's at the town hall. So please, talk it up, send anybody in,
What are the physical requirements?
yeah, you have to be able to pick up, 50 pounds, I think, and push 150 pounds.
Because I've got a neighbor who thinks that this would be the best place in the world to work, and I know that she couldn't physically do it.
Yeah, you have to be able to pick the boxes up.
And I think that's
So, but
the
it's
job
on the,
description. We need those again.
Are we should we be advertising maybe the school website, pages?
Yes, yes.
Really, those,
Yeah,
those
so
are
I,
really meant for students.
yeah, I will, email to,
The high school.
Tom was going to yesterday, I don't know where that was, but he
Okay.
was planning to send that off to the schools.
Excellent, and that's a good,
yeah,
that was
because,
always used as a ground spot for somebody who maybe want to go into library.
We have 2 applications right now for the library assistant, I think it's open for another week, and then we'll
Excellent.
work on that.
yeah, we only opened it, left it open for 2 weeks. And we did,
So you
we did,
meaning the position I'm confusing all the different names of
Library
positions.
library assistant is
The one that you
part-time.
thought you had somebody,
Yes.
and said no, so now you're still
Right.
open, okay.
And we posted it at MDLC and Simmons website as well.
And high school would be the best,
For the pages.
For the
for the
page,
page,
not
yeah.
for
oh, for
that,
the
yeah.
page, that's right.
Right.
Two different
Talking
positions.
different things, yeah.
And one of the ideas was maybe if a page could, because 2 hours every day is really important versus, so it might not be able to be one body. So it might be 2 pages with the total number of hours. We were gonna see whether that is possible. And we also talked
They have
about,
a lot of sports and school
Yeah.
activities going on.
and we all, and also tests that come up and you say, oh my God,
And
you
so
know.
he doesn't wanna work
Can
every
I,
Saturday.
reference a person, or should I not do that? That was brought up that you can't say that.
Oh.
Staff brought up about Erica, not Beth, but the staff said that Erica has worked here and volunteered here and that they all feel that she's a really good worker, they all highly recommend her.
That
If
was
she
my
would
first
consider
choice.
being a page, they would really like that.
And she's
And we checked with Denise for the
She's
fact that
15.
Beth is the chair,
16 in February.
as long as Beth isn't involved in any parts of it.
She have to be 16 though.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
If you're under 16, so she'd have to get a work permit,
She has work.
Okay.
so.
Well, we had,
Yeah.
She was
But
16.
I think the work permit is per work. So she would
So
just have to
a
get
new
one.
one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
well,
But Beth was not involved in that, and she was very concerned about anybody feeling there was a conflict of interest, and she was not involved in it, it was not brought up by her, it was brought up by staff, and they were highly recommending Erica, they really liked her.
She says she asks questions. She doesn't know what she wants.
Tell her to
Yeah.
fill out an
if
application.
That's
she
what I
can
said.
certainly
Absolutely.
apply if she so wishes.
Yeah.
So then we need to go back to the basics here of
Yes.
Yes.
Director.
the
Yes.
interim director.
So bibliotemp contract.
Where are we in the contract?
We can end the contract at any time. Last night I let Tom know that he was not moving forward and that, you know, I asked him not to come in today and not to come to the
You
meeting.
didn't work today either?
No, we asked him not to
Oh,
work today.
okay.
So,
Staff is a little concerned because I was accosted as I was walking in, that if we suddenly fired him tonight.
It's not
Tomorrow.
firing, it's not
Well, I know,
firing, it's
but
ending a
I
contract.
know, exactly, but they would have, staffing tomorrow would be a mess. And I said, that's not gonna
That's
happen.
not, that's not an issue,
But I
No,
just said, that's not gonna happen.
It's
Right.
not an issue.
that's not an issue.
there's, a contingency plan has been made, should we ask him not to come in,
Okay.
should we decide to end the contract.
so some of the, so Lori and I met with the staff this morning and to talk about both options. What are the pros, or I mean, what would the plan be if we had an interim continue at a lesser number of hours and not continue. So I think, you know, there are things that we can stop doing, like buying books, so that they don't have to come in. And it's not like forever, so you're not ordering, you're letting any standing orders continue to come in. There are, before the interim was hired, Lori was doing vouchers and time cards. She's willing to do them again.
Budget.
And the tracking the budget, and what was my other point?
Which way did the staff lean?
The staff would prefer to not continue the budget, not to continue the contract. And with some of the feeling is it's a lot of money to be going out of the budget when we're concerned about, you know, things like programming and toys and crayons. You know, we have a limited budget and they're very conscious of that. They also, I offered, you know, do we need another library assistant from bibliotemps? And that was immediately, we pay so much for that it is, you know, they're conscious of our budget too. And that
Because we're constantly reminding.
yes, and so it's, you know, it's a hard thing, so they're not interested in more bibliotemp help,
They would like to see the library assistant and the page
hired as fast as we can.
as fast as we can possibly do.
Real staff, and
And they're gonna reach out to volunteers, as well. They're gonna contact volunteers and be like, you know what, right now, we're in a crunch.
and one of
Can
the
you come in and?
There's a lot of
yeah.
volunteers too.
So this
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
volunteers.
Yes.
So they're gonna put a blast out and talk to everybody that comes in, and I would love to, ask all of us if we could possibly, I queried myself today,
How to come out though?
finally it's gonna come out.
I'm not at liberty to discuss
So that, you know, under my role as a trustee, I can be in the library, but if I'm reshelving books and in the stacks, I should be quarried, so, shelving books is, anybody can do that. No volunteers can't check out people, so, whatever we can free the staff up, the higher level stuff, the better it is. So if anybody could volunteer at a specific time, regularly or irregularly, they would love that, and I would so appreciate it, because Lauren's gonna teach me to catalog again, or remind me how to catalog, and so I offered to catalog on Saturdays or Sunday, well, not Sundays, but Saturdays when somebody's here, that I can be, I don't do anything else but catalog. That would be helpful.
And we said, let's
For a
not
week or
worry
two,
about
be able to-
sorting out the shed right now.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, that is not,
Right.
we
Well,
have,
plus that's not
other people
our-
that can
yeah.
handle it.
Exactly.
Our focus right now needs to be this library on a day-to-day basis. And if all of us can find some way to get in here to do some help, get the volunteers in here on a regular basis,
Yeah.
try to focus
Drum
on
up,
our page.
if you can't do, drum up one.
And
Our
Lisa
library
has her
assistant.
volunteers that
That's
just
right,
wanna
so
do
let them
that,
handle
so
that.
That's where they
Let's get
need
out of
to-
that right now, because honestly,
Trustees.
they need us here. They need us here.
The other
Um,
thing that I'd like to propose is that if Diana would be falling to the person that would be the go-to person, is that if we could vote to approve overtime for her.
Are we allowed to do that?
So,
Okay.
alright, so at
Because
the,
that was, I was almost wondering, can we up
Some
some of their
staff-
hours
some of the
just?
staff
just-
Only Diana.
Just Diana.
The
Oh.
others have to be maxed because of the benefit levels.
Okay.
and,
Right.
and independent of advice ad nauseum, one of the person's hours kept going up and up and up, and that's a concern, it's a serious concern. So it can't be happening. So they have to stay at 18 and a half. So Diana, in order to get things done, might need to do some extra hours.
And every staff member highly said, Diana is the key person,
Yeah.
and Diana should get OT. That was
Right.
immediately said
Yeah.
by staff.
And
Staff all wants to jump in where they need to be and ask for help where they need to be. Lauren is more than willing to do the scheduling, which Diana felt was a good idea. So it was a real coming together of what they wanted to do to make this work.
And I
But
just
we
wanna
need
say,
to
I'm
show
sorry,
them.
I don't think the intention is for Diana to work 60 hours a week. I mean, you have to be conscious of
Yeah.
how many extra hours she's putting in, because it is not fair to just keep increasing her hours because she's the only
Right.
one that has that flexibility. So just keep that in mind when you are scheduling that, yes, it's okay for her to be at 40, 42,
Right.
but you really don't want her to exhaust herself.
No.
And we had reduced Rhonda, we can bring Rhonda back up,
Yes.
Yeah.
Miranda's an interim too.
She is an interim, but she's at a much lower salary than the director was, so we have a little bit of room to play there.
I'm
Oh, but
concerned
it's extra
about
hours,
the
not extra money.
employee that goes over consistently.
Say again?
I'm concerned about the employee who goes over her hours consistently, and I think maybe a written notification
But
that
that's
she,
not us.
Well, and that's not the role of the trustees. However, I will say it's not her fault if she's being scheduled for more hours than she should have been. So that was the person doing the scheduling,
I
shouldn't have
see.
been putting her on for those hours.
And the new scheduler is already in place about that and understands that.
Diana's the new schedule.
No.
No,
Laura.
Laura.
Yes. So, and that had been addressed.
If we, if we decide, these are, we're talking options, Thank you, Carlos,
So
for helping.
what expertise are we losing by not continuing?
So some of the, is vouchers, is payroll and, what's the other word?
Need a minute?
Bills? Bills
Right?
Well, I can do bills.
and scheduling.
Lauren's got scheduling. I'm gonna do vouchers, I'm gonna do payroll, and I'm gonna work with budget.
And, you know, things that would need the help is, you know, the grant survey, those kind of things, those, which I think we're already been talking about pitching in to do. And then the hiring.
I make a motion that we don't renew or to continue with the contract.
Could I have a second? Or do you wanna think?
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed,
I'm abstaining.
abstaining? It's hard.
Yeah, cause I don't know enough.
Mm.
I don't know what's going underneath. I haven't heard, so I
Well,
just
this,
wanna.
I mean, all we're talking about is, do we continue paying the contract out? Or do we say with
I
the,
just feel
with the
like to
group of
say
the-
you're done, boom, boom, not even giving him notice or anything is just kind
Well,
of.
we're
Well,
done
it's-
with bibliot, I mean.
But that's
it's-
a biblio.
It's a
Yes.
contract,
It's
it's
a
not
contract
Right,
with a
that's what
company.
it is.
Right.
Right.
It just
And-
seems like, and
and-
it's different if you have somebody in place, or I guess I'm just like, if that were me, I would go, you know.
But you already know coming in that you're through a temp agency?
Right.
Yeah.
And anybody from any temp agency, whether it's
Right. Well, I'm
bibliotemps or
abstaining.
I'm
secretarial.
abstaining.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I think some of I did ask Tom, the interim if we voted to continue, would he be interested?
Mhm.
And he did say yes. I think I've lived under people who didn't get the, moved up, and that's, can be hard too.
Oh, I know that. I guess
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it seems like everything's happening like
But
today,
staff-
tonight, tomorrow.
staff
boom,
made-
bing.
Although
made
we've been working.
Well,
we've been
yeah,
working
but hello,
every
you know,
week. Yeah,
I
the
know.
rest of us have not
Yeah.
heard, are not privy to any of this.
yeah.
I mean, I did not find out about Louise, except I came to knitting.
Well,
that
we
day.
all
We
found
didn't
out.
either.
You know how we
Days.
found out?
We got an
found out
email.
from this.
We got an email.
Right,
We
you
had
found
No,
out,
I
right.
have.
From-
we-
had a
we-
from
No,
this.
we
there was
found
a
it
letter
in the email.
sent.
No, you sent it
Not
out.
I
to
didn't
me,
see
it
it.
wasn't.
The email went to all the trustees.
No,
I didn't
no.
get one.
no, you,
First time I
you were
found
the
out
only
about
people, he
it.
said.
We didn't
But we
get
found
then-
it 2 days ago.
Right.
That's
But-
what I was
But
found out.
Lauren, it came
still.
out on the director's report for all of us
Yeah.
today, that's
Yes.
how we found out.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, so it seems like there's a lot
Sorry
of
that
very
you know
fast
the
things
entire
happening. I'm not getting in an argument, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I don't know all the information, so
Abstaining is perfect.
I'm
That's
abstaining.
fine. Thank you.
I'm not saying no, and I'm not gonna be told to vote yes if I don't know.
No
So-
one will
No.
tell you to
No,
vote
no,
yes,
no,
none of
I
us are telling you
Okay.
to do that.
Thanks, Laura.
But nobody knew about Louise until,
Oh,
Today was when we found
oh,
out.
I know, so it just seems like a lot of things are rapidly happening, and I'm trying to chew it.
if anybody
Figure it all
sends me
out.
an email, call me because my computer was invaded.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to talk to Jen about your availability.
All right, I'll call you if you're available.
So did we finish our vote?
Yes,
We're all in favor, do we had an abstain?
and,
Yes.
yes.
We moved on.
But we need to now vote on, approving Diana for overtime, and should we cap the number of hours? I think we should cap the number of hours.
I agree.
Okay.
So can we say up to 45 hours?
How many hours
She's
in
at
the library?
37 now.
She's at 37.
She's at 37 now.
So
How
that
many-
gives her an
the
additional
library's
8
open 40 hours.
Like another day.
Mm.
So-
She's
But she's
45.
working about 40, right, pretty regularly. I have
Well,
the last
Is she
couple of,
putting in for it or no?
she's not putting in
hasn't
for
been
any
putting in
overtime.
for
She is going up to 40 hours.
So,
Yeah, I
I-
think 45 is
somebody else
realistic.
make the motion.
Yeah, I would like to make that motion, to allow Diana to go up to 45 hours.
And be,
Temporarily,
Yeah, temporarily,
make sure it.
and be
Yeah.
paid
uh,
for the hours that she works.
I'll
Um,
second that.
Thank you,
Until
and
further notice.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining or opposing? Thank you.
Is that everything?
When will you contact Biblia Tuesday?
Tomorrow. And I'll call Tom tonight.
We did tell them that.
Yeah, I did tell him, I'd call him.
Is he have a key?
Does have a key.
Yes, because we were unsure of what the future was going to be, yep, that's what we were going to suggest, is that he mails it back to Denise.
And,
He has no private things here, his desk.
I don't believe so, I think that,
He knew.
I don't know if he knew or not, but we were very honest in our conversation last night with him.
Okay, so it was last night that he.
Yeah,
so we talked about.
Tuesday, yes, last night. We were very honest in our conversation, and it was a very nice conversation. So,
Excellent.
Just check my notes, guys, make sure I didn't forget to vote on something. We do have to review, that was the, so the reviewing the schedule, we have a contingent plan of, bringing Rhonda in on Friday to cover the time. For Friday.
time to go home, you too?
And Thursday
You got it.
is,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
is tomorrow Thursday?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
They-
Almost today.
Tomorrow,
Good night, thank you very much.
Thank you.
good night,
Thank
Denise, thank you, Ron.
Yep.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Still supposed to come back
I'll
on
miss
the.
you guys.
It's not over yet,
We're
Denise.
supposed to- Yeah, we're still supposed to come back on the 17th or whatever too, right?
Unless we have it, the meeting beforehand, cause
Yeah,
we
then we
did
come-
say,
then
and
we
then
come
we'll
back
come
to
to
the
that
meeting,
one, right.
Yeah.
The 17th, you're always welcome, but, thank you. We might have it sooner.
Well, whenever it is,
17th if we don't.
let me know.
Good night, all.
I don't think so, I don't think anything, just that the schedule,
I'll see you later
tomorrow we're
on.
getting two more, Lauren's coming in extra, or can come in, we can call her and have her come in
Yeah,
extra.
I've got phone numbers.
And
Diana wasn't scheduled for tomorrow, but she can come in tomorrow.
so we can call her. and have her-
Lauren can help cover a couple of hours in the morning for, the children's program, and Megan can just stay where she's at, that area is covered.
Right. No,
Friday is the movie though, so we do just, if anyone is available Friday night, to stay with Rhonda for the teen movie. That just might be a question that we have to ask about.
Yeah, 'cause she can't be our.
I can come in if she needs it.
I know Erica's going somewhere, but I don't think I'm.
And
going
also,
anywhere.
it was brought up by the staff that, and I usually do the Monday meetings, the Monday programs. So if I can be here for the Monday program so that Diana can go out, not have to be in here and still cover the desk or whatever needs to happen, then at least there's a trustee in here while the program is going on, because the last time she had to tape it. Because, Charlie was
I'm here
over
on
at town hall.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So I can learn how to tape it too, Charlie.
Well,
So that would be greatly
Laura, would
appreciated,
there be a way, when you're gonna be
anytime.
working on the
Thanks.
Northeast document, if you could go
Yeah.
to the meeting over there and someone else, Laurel's gonna be here.
depending on which Monday it is.
Let's see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't spread myself out too
No.
far.
But, you
Um,
know, if we can all just step in when we can over these next
And,
number of weeks, we will get this done, and we'll
Oh,
get this
yeah.
done as quickly as we can, and it is a process,
Due process.
due process.
You guys have done a wonderful job
I'm,
for all that you've done,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I apologize if I forgot anything, but I think we did, I think we're ready to go. Motion to adjourn,
Carlos,
Your journey?
we're adjourning,
We're adjourned.
we're done.
nine
Do we
eighteen.
need a second? No, we don't.
No, we just make motions to adjourn, I need to look